Okay, everyone, it is a little bit after 7 in the lovely town of Capitol Heights. We're going to start the meeting. Today is January 13th, 2025. T.A. Britton, can you call the roll, please?
Yeah. Mayor Monroe,
Here.
Councilmember Amanda Anderson. Here. Council Member Anita Anderson. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Chu. Here. Councilmember Forsythe. Councilmember James.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Chief, please. Okay. Currently, it's, what time is it? Oh my God. 7:04.
I know I sound raspy, but it's nothing you can catch. It's a sinus infection. So excuse the voice. But T.A. Britton, we still are missing one here. I just switched to Councilwoman Ford temporarily.
What is that one?
We're minus one. I thought you just gave it to
No, that's Councilwoman. Amanda.
Oh, we need one. Oh, gotcha. Oh, excuse that. Okay.
Councilwoman Anita.
I'll just put it.
Can we get the Can we get the key test now? If he locked it, then it's a back check.
The agenda is out of order. So can I please do the approval of the minutes, please? No, excuse me. The meeting rules, please. No, this agenda is out of order. It's confusing me. Can I have a silent prayer, please? Amen. Pledge of allegiance to the flag.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, T.A. Britton, can you read the meeting rules, please?
Rules for speaker. The mayor and council invite and welcome comments at public meetings. The mayor or chair will recognize you. Please introduce yourself at the podium. Spell your last name or for recording purposes and give the name of your street and block number. Example, 4300 block of 34th Street. Time limits for speaking are indicated on the meeting agenda. While speaking, please maintain courteous tone and avoid personal attacks. If you wish to lodge a complaint about the performance or contact with any town employee, please bring your concern to the attention of the town administrator. We will look into the matter and respond to you. As a courtesy to the other residents and businesses, the council requests that speakers not use specific addresses or names of the individuals when describing a situation or making a complaint, unless the name or address is essential to an understanding of the situation or complaint. Noting the block is preferred over a specific address. Code enforcement and public safety issues should be brought to the attention of the appropriate department. Thank you.
Okay, can I get an approval of the agenda, please? Any nays? So be it. Agenda's approved. Thank you so much. Any public comments?
Groceries. Any public comments?
No.
Okay, thank you. We'll go straight into tonight's presentation. Excuse me, the presentation is on the Drive Municipal MOU. swearing in of the, our new police officer. Okay.
Coming in, Rick? You got swear in?
This is great. In December, I went to my first police swearing in ceremony. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Okay. Excuse my voice. Whereas I, your name, do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, and I affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland and the town of Capitol Heights, and support the Constitution and laws thereof. And I will, to the best of my skills, ability, and judgment, without partiality or prejudice, execute the duties of police officer for the town of Capitol Heights, located in Prince George's County, Maryland, according to the Constitution and laws of the state. And be it resolved that the effective date of this oath is the 13th day of December. Subscribed and affirmed before Linda Monroe, Mayor, Town of Capitol Heights, and the Town Council on the 13th day of December, 2024.
Mayor, she has to say the same
Okay.
word.
I don't remember, did she read it back to me?
No, you read to her and she repeats everything you say. Because that's what, I didn't want to stop you because you were on a roll. But when you say it, then she follows it. So you would do like every line. It's not saying the oath unless she says it.
Of course, but you did? Okay. Never mind.
That's what the council spoke to me, like, hey, she's not. reading.
Okay. Whereas I do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, and I affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland and the town of Capitol Heights, and support the Constitution and laws thereof, and I will, to the best of my skills, ability, and judgment, without partiality or prejudice, execute the duties of police officer for the town of Capitol Heights, located in Prince George's County, Maryland, according to the Constitution and laws of the state.
Thank you, Mayor.
I won't give it back to
All
that.
right, congratulations. Wasn't ready, man. You got the case. Move it on. She signed it, and you signed it, and you'll take that copy and take it with you.
I think when you really did it, the first time you had several hundred there. Big turnout. But isn't this great? All your colleagues came to see you. They just want to get in the photo op. Okay.
And then you shook your hand. Okay, thank you. You can shake your
Do a little
hand.
photo. You want me to do this way or shall we do it this way? It's not the TA's phone, is it? No. Good.
She hates my phone.
Yeah, they.
Okay, come on up here. This is her husband.
Oh,
You want to get a picture?
well, just,
Come on up here with the mayor and your wife. There you go. We're here, then we'll go there.
that's
All right,
got.
all right. You take that and make a copy. Put it back in the middle.
Did you want her to take any with any of her colleagues?
Yes, yes.
Any
You
of
have
the
time?
colleagues?
You got anybody
Yeah.
want to take a
You want
picture?
any
Well, they can
colleagues?
take a picture out of where in the lobby, so guys, you know, if you want to take a picture with her, the mayor's gonna get on her meeting. So
You
you
gonna
guys
give
wanna
it to
take a picture out there in the lobby or real quick, just kind of get together, just close the door so the mayor can do it. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
All right. Let's see you again. Take care.
Oh, you want to leave it on here?
Oh, that's gonna be a lot.
I gotta figure on the floor.
Well, I guess what is this on meeting minutes?
Oh, yeah.
So it's a meeting minutes. Meeting minutes
Just close the door behind you, okay, guys? Yes, sir.
at Capitol
Can we
Heights.
just make sure everyone turns off their phone in respect of the meeting and then, please? Thank you for reminding me. That I was on my phone. Thank you.
You about ready, Kyle?
Yes, Mayor. Just wanted to send out the presentation. All you guys were earlier.
How we gonna do that? How do you do that? Come on.
Yeah, we also had a PowerPoint as well.
No, you just put it on the PowerPoint?
Yeah, but it hasn't gotten here yet. I don't even know how to even
Is
add
it
it.
ready for us, Kyle?
Yeah, it is. I'm just having a hard time with the internet.
You might be, huh? Because then they won't be able to see it online if we do it that way. You think if you join the meeting, you think if you join the meeting and you share a screen?
Yeah. You have to go through.
The website, go to the Capitol Heights.
Sorry.
You don't.
I don't have an
The website. And then you wanna go to. And then click on.
I got a flash drive.
No.
And then. It's gonna send you down.
Yeah, he gonna just log in and then share his screen, I guess, present, yeah.
If we have handouts,
Yeah, sure, no, that's fine. So we get started.
what's your name?
Hi.
So I think most people should have copies of this. This is a copy of the draft program plan,
Yeah, what is that?
which was prepared.
What is that?
Yep, in the last meeting. And so there are some.
I'm on my hotspot. Might work best.
You want to start, Rick?
Sure, I can start and introduce
Because you
myself.
know,
Yeah, so good afternoon, good evening.
you would go to, make that word presentable for you.
Uh,
The microphone.
Right here? Okay.
Right there, and use the podium.
Is the mic on there, Brittany?
Yep, the microphone is on here.
I don't know.
Thank you so
Get
much.
to the Wi-Fi. How you get to the Wi-Fi?
Okay, how you get to? So good evening, and thank you all so much for. I think it's good. I think I have it just sending email.
Okay.
All right, well, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you again for the opportunity to,
You know, the mic is not, on, it's not working.
that's one,
Not
two.
working.
Turn it over.
Go ahead, Brittany.
The mic.
Is it the green light on?
Oh, no, it's a red
The battery's out. Where's the battery? That's true.
Turn it.
What
Press the
printer is
button.
under the printer?
light. Okay. It's still the red light.
Right, that's right.
Oh,
Cap. Tight. Oh, yeah.
Okay, we can hear it.
Okay.
Just here. That work.
Test, test. Operational. It's working. Man.
Okay. All right, thank you all. All right, good evening. Thank you all so much for the opportunity just to share and present about the 20743 Coalition and some of the work that we have been doing. Really, I would say almost over the last 12 months, 6 months, definitely since at least January. My name is Brittany Draper for the record with the Capital Market. I am also here today with Kyle Reeder, who is one of my colleagues at the Capital Market. And on behalf of List DC and the Capital Market, as well as other community organizations that have been working, we are here just to discuss with you all today the program plan and some of the next steps that we envision for implementing the 20743 coalition, actually the national coalition. And so just for a brief background, brief overview, we have been working as part of this 20743 coalition again, since at least January of, 2024. I almost forgot I was in 2025 for a minute. And as part of that work, we have been meeting consistently with municipal representatives and also community stakeholders to really talk about the shared goals and shared visions for the broader community. And so following 3 years of work in the Blue Line Corridor, List DC in 2024 partnered with the Urban Land Institute to host the Blue Line Corridor Technical Assistance Panel. And I know some of you all were present for that activation, which was held at the training source, where subject matter experts in development, planning, and placemaking engaged community representatives and stakeholders in the greater needs for this area. And so there were 3 primary goals of this project, which were to identify the short-term actionable steps to support and increase community power, to affect land use in our community, to implement short-term safety improvement, and invest in long-term projects that create a more desirable development site throughout our community. And then also one of the third objectives of that was to create a community-based organization to be a voice and advocate on behalf of the municipalities and communities to really advance inclusive and equitable work. And so building off of that momentum, the TAP with ULI, List DC, along with the Capital Market, started to convene elected officials representing our 3 incorporated municipalities, Fairmont Heights, Capitol Heights, and Pleasant, for our first convening of what is now known as the 20743 Coalition. And this was held in May of 2024. And during this meeting, the group discussed opportunities for collaboration, mutual goals, and common initiatives that would benefit each municipality and the wider corridor. And so from that coalition, we developed a program plan, which I will walk through some today, as well as an MOU, which could be implemented to help advance that program plan. And the idea of the MOU was to be developed to basically on the front end, build agreement and consensus on the front end to support ongoing municipal engagement and interaction. I'll say on the back end, but to really gain consensus up front. And then once consensus is gained in conjunction with the program plan, we would be able to move forward and adequately advance and implement the objectives in the program plan. So what I passed out to everyone is a copy of the program plan. And so the program plan was developed, again, in collaboration with the three municipalities, using the guidance from the Turnip Tour, which were community outreach activations and placemaking events that the capital market held in conjunction with the different municipalities. Also from the Urban Land Institute's TAP along the Blue Line corridor, as well as we reviewed the different strategic plans and environmental plans that the different municipalities developed, as well as hosting those convenings. And so in one of the convenings that we held, we did, and actually several of our convenings, we talked about mutual goals, we mapped them on sticky notes on the board. Each municipality came up with different ideas around what were priorities. Then we came back and we prioritized them, we grouped them, and we did all of those. I like to call it fun stuff as an urban planner. Those kinds of things make me really excited. And we also pulled together some feedback from the Blue Line Corridor Civic Leadership Institute, which I know some of your elected officials and council members attended that. And so what we ended up coming up with was a program plan. And so this is what the program plan looks like. So I'll go through it just briefly. I won't read it line by line, but I just want to make sure everyone is just familiar with the flow of how it works and what's included. So the first part of the program plan basically summarizes all the key activities that we would be looking to do over an 18-month period. And so some of these, or many of these activities in the program plan would be funded through funding from the city, through the state, and also through county government, as well as other philanthropic and nonprofit sources. And so first, what we have on the program plan summary is first just areas of activity. We've grouped these areas of activities into three components: storytelling, which looks at promoting a distinct and bold and proud identity of the 20743 zip code. The second would be placemaking, which looks at activations and events. And the third grouping looks at joint advocacy and community power. So what are some of the ways in which we can collaborate and work together to help advance both our individual community goals, but also our collective community goals as well? Next to those columns, you'll see additional columns that say timeline, budget, source, and then implementation responsibilities. So timeline basically designates when do we anticipate that activity completing. The budget indicates how much we estimate it might cost to actually implement that. And then we have a source which indicates who might be, or which organization or entity may be responsible for funding it. And then under implementation responsibility, that just denotes who's responsible for completing the task, who will be consulted to make sure we've done the task appropriately, and then who will be informed just to make them aware that this is happening. Kyle, feel free to jump in.
No, I will.
Okay, all right. And so I think Cal will walk you all through the MOU, and then I'll go through the program plan. So just for storytelling, so what we've just asked when we've met with some of the other municipalities, one of the things that we've requested is to look at the program plan and to make sure you see things in here that we talked about last year, or if there's a project or activity that you feel like would be important to include in here that's not included, to let us know so that we can revise it and include that. And as I mentioned, the first bucket is storytelling, which really looks at building a shared narrative for the broader 20743 community. And so this will look at defining and creating a shared and inclusive narrative, promoting that shared inclusive narrative, both through traditional media and then also digital media, as well as tracking and evaluating that. So when we think about actually marketing and branding for the broader 20743 community, and particularly along the Blue Line, what that looks like is making sure that we have all defined what that community looks like to us, but then we're also able to communicate that in a very consistent manner. And that way that we do it is also consistent, but also creative, right? And it truly reflects the culture and cultural identity and the roots of our respective communities. The next broad strategy that I'll tackle.
Is placemaking.
Okay. Do you want to share?
We aren't able to get the PowerPoint.
Okay, all right. So the next strategy that we'll focus on is placemaking, which looks at utilizing vacant land located on public, private, and municipally owned property along the Blue Line corridor for storytelling, community power, and economic power. And so some key strategies that we've identified for that look at creating and maintaining an inventory of vacant and underutilized property, where we would actually develop a database, both a digital database like a spreadsheet, but we want to push that a little bit further to actually build out a GIS database so that we could have a digital map across the 3 municipalities to actually indicate where vacant properties are, how long they've been vacant, and potential activations or economic release they can be done. We've also looked at, as part of these strategies, implementing 3 collaborative public engagement events across the 3 municipalities. So we know that the town of Capitol Heights has been working very hard with the town of Fairmont Heights, right? And y'all have been doing some very great programming. Last year, there was the, I know we did the, thank you, there was the shared food drive. We also did the back to school activation, which seemed to be, and looked like the kids had a lot of fun at that activity. So what are some 3 activities that we could do together to really help to, again, foster this narrative of the shared community while also implementing projects that get people excited and have people feel the joy and respect and love and appreciation for the places in which they live. 2 other strategies that we fleshed out would be partnering with the Arts and Humanities Council to do some additional festivals in the community, as well as just developing an ongoing funding and resource strategy to foster and to support other types of community activations that this group, the 20743 Coalition, would be interested in. Finally, the last strategy that we've identified was joint advocacy and community power. And this strategy really looks at, again, building a contingency of elected officials and residents who are empowered to advocate and change the future of their community. And I think this is something that, for me, we've really heard from the town of Capitol Heights, particularly Mayor Monroe, when you said it was, and this is where I got the idea from. You said, I went to Annapolis and I championed for funding for projects in my community. And very often when I work with other municipalities in Prince George's County, particularly some of the smaller municipalities who have felt like they may not have necessarily gotten their fair shake, one of the things that I've often gone to them and said, you have to work your plan. Just because there is a master plan that's been done in your community, just because there's this strategy or this person that's come in and said they want to do this economic development proposal, if you're not getting in front of elected officials, if you're not getting in front of the state or county individuals who are responsible for implementation, then you are not doing yourself the greatest service. And so when we heard that, we were like, oh, we need to include that as strategies as part of this.
FYI, I did it today. They started that,
Yeah.
Okay.
And so some of those strategies look at both formalizing opportunities for shared services and communities of practice, whether it be public safety and having them speak together to talk about issues that might be common across all 3 municipalities, providing educational workshops and trainings that are just specific to these 3 municipalities, as well as creating like opportunities to advocate to county and state officials with shared goals. So what would it look like to have a 20743 day on Annapolis, in Annapolis, where all of our constituents came together to talk about improvements that we want to see together on Central Avenue, or improvements that we want to see at the Metro Station. And then finally, one other thing that we heard was really big and something that's also important to us is finding opportunities and building out opportunities to engage youth. And so the program plan also looks at formalizing partnerships with local community-based organizations as well as schools to formalize opportunities to work with youth. So prior to almost 10 years ago now, wow, I actually worked with the Port Town Youth Council. So the Port Town had established their CDC. Shout out to Reverend Gail Addison, who has done some awesome work for over 20 years with organizing young people, helping them get jobs and also helping them get involved in working in the local municipalities there. And so that was something that we said would also be very beneficial to our communities here. And so those are just a broad summary of some of the major items included in the workbook. So with that, I'll turn it over to Kyle, and then I guess we'll take questions.
Thanks, Sabrina. I might need some of those paper.
Oh.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Tyler Reader with the Capital Market. I think last time I was here, I was on behalf of Councilmember Amanda and Councilman Anita and trying to do a health and wellness day last year, which was really successful. And so again, I'm excited to be back up here to talk about the next endeavor of trying to make our community even better. As Brittany talked about the program plan that we fleshed out based off of the feedback that we've received from the municipalities, I want to talk a little bit more about how to make that a reality and resourcing that plan. So as Brittany mentioned, like I said, there are a number of different endeavors that we've come up with in terms of being able to work together to deliver on our vision. And so one of the biggest things is trying to figure out how to resource. As mentioned, LISC is a big funder of this initiative and wants to support advancing it. And so, as mentioned, there's money from the state and some other private dollars to support this. However, we know that the municipalities are a big partner in delivering on this work. And so, as part of the program plan, we are proposing that each municipality contribute 0.1% of their operating budget to help fund this first year of program planning. And what that looks like is, so for the town of Capitol Heights, I think your FY24 operating budget was $4.9 million. And so 0.1% of that will be $4,900. And so the strategy is that, because considering each municipality has a very different type of operating budget, and we want to be equitable based off of what resources are available within the municipality, we talked about being able to just provide a percentage of each municipality's operating budget to help support at least the first year of the program plan. So again, with the Capitol Heights operating budget last year being $4.9 million, we anticipate the contribution for the first year being $4,900 for this program plan, with the idea that the money coming from LISC will heavily subsidize delivering some of these goals that we set out in our program plan. And that money will go towards, like I said, some of the exciting things that Brittany mentioned, us coming together, coordinating around shared priorities and challenges, delivering on some different joint events and activations, and then also kind of coordinating around just some advocacy, and whether it's getting out to Annapolis, getting advocacy papers to Annapolis, going down to the county council in Upper Marlboro or Largo now, to be able to get some of the things that we want here for the west end of the Blue Line corridor. Let's see. And so that's basically the ask for Capitol Heights, right? Like I said, we took the feedback that we got from you all over the last year to really enhance the program plan of what we can potentially do. And today's ask is, at least for the first year, if it works, if Capitol Heights can commit 0.1% of their operating budget, which will be, again, based off of FY24's numbers, $4,900, with LISC subsidizing most of the other operating expenses to help deliver on some of these things. We understand that resources are limited, but one of the benefits of this moment right now is that there's so much attention on our Blue Line corridor. And we want to be able to seize the moment to deliver on the things that you all want to deliver for your constituents. And, there's me, somebody who lives outside the municipalities, who wants to just see in the community more in general. And so that's one of the acts. And I think one of the other next steps also is the MOU. I know that you guys have had some internal discussions about the MOU and some comments. And I think you guys should have a copy of this document, right? And this document is the MOU. I don't know. This is shared. Yeah, it's not a front.
Those are the yellow line changes.
I think,
Yeah,
so,
because the bluest one had the changes marked in it.
yeah,
Yeah, we don't have that.
So
It did come in the email though.
okay,
Yeah, so we have 3 copies. right
yeah,
now, but
all it does.
You make copies
Go ahead.
We can get some.
Yeah.
of that.
And I don't think you guys want to make a decision tonight, but we do want to make sure that you guys have as much information as possible to see what's in the best interest of the town. And but I just highlight some big things, or some key points from the MOU. I think one of the biggest questions was what the shared resourcing look like. And so in the MOU, we based off of the feedback that we received from the municipalities, inserted a clause that kind of defines the shared resourcing. Another thing I just wanted to highlight was some in some of the planning meetings, people have asked about the term, right? And committing to a long-term MOU and say everything doesn't work out, and now we stuck in this agreement with these municipalities and we can't work together. And I think what was proposed in the MOUs that this kind of be, we take it 1 year at a time, and see what works. Yes, Mayor.
I said, we do 1 year with the option to renew.
Yes, because just as much as it can work, it could potentially work, and we might find that it might be beneficial to continue this collaboration. And as I mentioned before, this moment that we're in, we might not get enough opportunity to have private funding to support this initiative. I know in the past that there have been efforts to do this work. I know Councilmember Victor James is a part of it. I know we talked to Mayor Grant from Seat Pleasant and Mayor Martin from the town of Fairmount Heights, and they were integral parts, I think, with Delegate Tiffany Alston, if I'm not mistaken. They were like meetings at her office trying to do this work. And so this plan and this initiative is building off of that legacy, right? And taking the lessons learned and being able to adjust our strategy and try different ways. Because ultimately, like I said, we're all three small minutes. Well, we're small, but together we're mighty. And I wanted to highlight, Brittany, if you don't mind, tossing me that the program plan. Yeah, excuse me, guys. I just wanted to point out one of just the benefits of working together, right? And then I'll pause here for questions after this. But I just wanted to say, by collaborating to promote our common interests and address shared challenges, by pooling resources, sharing information, and strengthening a collective voice on issues such as funding legislation, infrastructure, and environmental concerns, we can work together through this coalition to increase our influence and effectiveness in our negotiations with the county, state, and federal levels to attract funding, to tackle common shared issues, and more efficiently address reach our shared vision. Like I said, this can involve, and this basically campaign is an attempt at doing that. We know this has been done in the past, and we're taking those lessons learned from the past and trying to advance the initiative to really make this thing a reality. And we can't do it without you guys. So I'll pause here for any questions or comments or concerns. And I appreciate that flexibility. Sorry, I'm gonna have this presentation.
You keep mentioning, and I've been to several meetings, you keep mentioning shared resources. What do you mean by shared resources?
All right, so, and again, apologies, we have some copies running now. So, there was in the memo that was sent over, in conjunction with the draft MOU, we basically indicated that we heard those 4 major questions. What are shared resources, right? How are we defining them in the MOU? And so what we've included in the draft MOU is to define shared resources as follows. To share resources, including but not limited to in-kind support, technical assistance, and financial contributions, expertise, and best practices in areas such as public safety, infrastructure development, education, health services, and environmental sustainability. And so this definition ensures that all municipalities just have a shared understanding and common understanding of what constitutes resource sharing and how it aligns again with the program objectives. Is that?
No. Okay, so I know public safety, you're talking about the police department. What other area, you said something else?
Councilmember, can I approach? I would just want, I don't know if you have this a copy, but I did want to give you this so you can at least
So
look at
I'm
it.
trying to get an understanding. The only reason why I'm asking is because even if we decide to do this, we will probably need to get input from the residents because these are their tax dollars. And when you talk about crossing the line for resources and sharing their tax dollars and their resources that they pay with other municipalities, they have to have a say-so in it because their tax dollars actually benefit this town. And when you're moving their tax dollars into another municipality because they are short and they need help on their services, then that means their money is being allocated to help another municipality.
Yeah.
So I think that we have to get an understanding, or we have to know, when you talk about shared resources, what shared resources, and even if it's possible, that we will have to get a buy-in from our president.
No, absolutely. And I think that's very fair and expected, right? And I think with this first year, the expectation is that, you know, 0.09 budget of $4,000 roughly, right? Will fund the program plan that we've worked together on to draft, right? So at this point, we're not talking about sending police officers to Sea Pleasant or Fairmont Heights, or you guys having or Sea Pleasant sending the code enforcement over here or anything like that. We're just talking about just being able to establish a foundation where we can work together, right? And I do want to stress the moment, right? In that right now we have a lot of private dollars that want to see that wants to invest in some type of collaboration between the municipalities, right? That money isn't always going to be here, right? And so at this point, right, like I know you guys have an operating budget of $4 million, and right now we're only asking for $4,000. But if those private dollars aren't available in the future, you know, then if this is something that we as a community deem, or you guys deem important is to collaborate, you know, it might be harder to get that private investment in these initial program plan.
No, thank you, Val. And I think, you know, Calvin explained it 100% awesome, right? So it's not necessarily intended as shared resources where we're actually talking about staffing, but a great example that I can use is in the port towns, right? Or have you ever driven around like Gateway, Arts District along Route 1 or in the port towns, and you see like the flags that are like the branded flags of the community, right? So those sometimes are instances where the local CDC or local community, they might all use those shared resources, right? So literally, let's say there might be private dollars, or there might be philanthropic dollars, right? And let's do a community branding strategy, right? So we have uniformed or new trash cans that are co-branded, or we have flags that are co-branded. So again, that's how they more so around not necessarily staffing, but more so around shared community projects, right? If there is one of the ideas that we had earlier, so was to possibly do MLK Day breakfast, right? That could be an opportunity where those resources are shared to help implement that program and that project to make sure that it happens. To make sure that it happens. So it would be like projects such as that. Or even support with like the, sorry, I know I'm rambling, but even support with projects like the food giveaway that happens on Sunday, right? Are there opportunities, since that is a shared initiative, are there opportunities to do additional marketing, right? To do additional branding, maybe want to purchase bags for people so that they all have reusable grocery bags or something like that. So things up in that type of.
Councilman,
I hear.
quick question. The 4,900, is that a one-time contribution
So
to
the
this project?
Yeah, so the idea of what we have in the MOU would be that it would be something that would happen basically on an annual basis. And what we propose, so in the memo, so there's the MOU, and then behind the MOU is a memo that basically responds to some of the questions that we've heard from elected officials about their concerns. And so one of the things that we have proposed was that the funding is basically tied to the program plan, and that there's an opportunity on an annual basis for this group, so this council as well as the two other municipalities, to come together, reevaluate the program plan, us to evaluate how have we come and actually implementing the program plan. And then once we've evaluated how far we've come, to say do we want to add to this, and how do we want to adjust our contributions, right? So
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you both for being here. My thought process is, for the sake of being able to make decisions to move forward in one direction or another, I heard my colleague, Councilmember Chu, mentioned getting the residents buy-in, which, of course, we always want residents to buy into what we're doing and proposing and the decisions that we're making. I guess I'm just curious how you envision that. I don't want us to leave from here with no plan on how to move forward. So how do we get that resident buy-in? This is really a question to my colleagues. Is that through, are we holding a special meeting? Are we sending out information door to door for them to respond back? Like, what would that look like if that is going to be a prerequisite to making a decision to move forward? Those are just some ideas that I threw out there. I do think the decision-making move forward is important this time with the opportunities that I hand. So those are my thoughts at this time. Thank you.
Yeah,
I yield.
Councilman Ford?
Yes, thank you for coming out and sharing and giving some information, blessing our residents. I am on board with the program. I do believe that it is necessary that we all come together and put forth resources so that we can see things happen. Because I'm sure you are aware that all of us, as Mayor has spoken, we do want to have things to grow in our community. So in order to do that, we have to give in order to receive some. So I do anticipate us coming together with our residents and having these talks, and not just this one talk, and also making something available on our website, as we've discussed in those sessions as well. I'm not sure if it'll be all municipalities, but we did say we would make something available on the website for our residents to maybe put in their feedback or get some input or something. We can maybe share the status of how things are coming along. So look forward to that, just so that we can have something in our eye gate to look forward to. So I thank you. You.
Yes, please. Councilwoman Anita?
Thank you. Really, when, skip me, I just forgot.
Let me come back with the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Councilman James?
Yes, shared resources, this is my thought for that. As if we have a concrete sidewalk project that's coming down. Now, let's say if Sea Plant and Fairmont Heights need the same type of project, we could go to the mill and request a larger volume, and it would bring down the cost for all municipalities. That's somewhat of what you're talking about with shared resources.
Yep. Through that shared organizing, yep, we are definitely able to leverage economies of scale, right? Yes, so that would definitely be, that's a great example. Thank you.
And one other thing, we're bringing 4,000 plus to the table. How much is Sea Pleasant and Fairmont Heights bringing?
So the request has been the same for every municipality, which is that 0.1% of their operating budget. And so it is, so that is intended to address any equity issues of if one municipality might have a larger operating budget or a smaller operating budget, right? And then, so that it's equitable in that extent. And then also just as an individual municipality, if in which your budget ever fluctuates, if it increases, right? Or if it decreases, that contribution also adjusts based off of that. So if your municipality is thriving, right, there might be more opportunities for funding for us to do more and to expand more in the community.
Excuse me, sir. That's not your question. Your question is money-wise, how much they bring?
I thought she said.
It's 1% of your budget.
Zero point zero.
Point.
Yeah,
But their budgets are, he's saying they're different. Sea Pleasant's is a little bit higher than ours, and,
So it might be a little,
Fairmont Heights is a lot less than
Yeah.
ours.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
but the percentage is the same for each.
No, but that's not the dollar
Yeah,
That's
value.
the dollar value.
That's what you're saying, the
Yeah,
dollars.
so
The
if-
dollar value does look different, so with
That's
Sea
what-
Pleasant's
that's
operating
what-
budget being, I think, a little bit larger, they will have a larger contribution.
Fairmont's is a lot
Yeah,
less, a
less
lot
than-
less.
yeah. Right, but we all share the same agenda.
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
that
but
was
yeah.
his question.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yes, and so the dollar amount, so Sea Pleasant budget is approximately 14 million. Fairmont Heights budget is approximately 1.2. Right, so,
You, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you.
My thought came back. When we try to survey, this is a suggestion, when surveying the community with either via paper, whatever, and all 3 municipalities put it on their website, I suggest putting a QR code
Okay.
on it, so then that way people can scan it, it's up on their phone and go ahead and do it, and then we get the information
past the return. Give that information.
Yeah, no, I agree. It definitely allows us to process the information quicker and to also evaluate it quicker.
Okay, I'm gonna close out because we're over in minutes, but I'll just ask my several questions. Is one was on the money. Insofar as the scheduling. I had a question on that, but the RFP on the vacant lots, how is that going to work? Because you can answer that for me.
Use the RFP on the vacant lots, like how would we go about?
Yeah.
Actually identifying what are vacant lots.
We'll be out of office in, May of 26.
No,
No, I'm just saying on paper.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, we'll be out of office.
right, so how will the, okay,
I think the program plan just talks about identifying them. I know, I think you're looking at, I think that was an advocacy.
Can we move on to the next question?
No, but I think, just, if anything, creating an inventory. I know you guys worked with lists before, in terms of just identifying something. Yeah, so and hopefully, hope is that we continue to create that inventory, not just for you all use, but as you are attracting businesses in the community, you can give this report to them as well, so that they can maybe make potential investments as well, making it easier for folks to do business in the town.
That's true. Well, because first of all, they have to know if the land is buildable.
Yeah.
That's the value of the feasibility study.
right.
Okay, my other one is your schedules. We are very busy and it looks like it's back to back, back to back, back to back. And it has, the input of the 20743 Coalition. I personally, if these are actual meetings, I definitely can't do it.
Yeah, so
So
the,
I'm just going by what's on paper. It seems like back to back, back to back, back to back.
right, and so a part of this would be that, working with List DC and the capital market, we would be responsible for actually doing a lot of the research, like basically doing the grunt work, right? And we would come back to the council to confer with you all and to discuss with you all about the status of the projects, how we're doing, if what we're doing is like the right approach, and really consulting with you all to make sure that we're going about it the right way. But we would be responsible for doing a lot of the heavy grunt work.
Are you getting paid to do it? You should. That's good. We can move on past that. But my other one is, you know, I can't read my own one. Oh. Is the option to renew being considered? Because I'm just gonna be candid with you. On paper, we will be out of office. So we're putting in place something, if it's 3 years. Is it 1 year right now? Because is it 3 years? That's what we started out with. Or is it 1 year? What is the definite? Is it 1 year? And I say with the option to renew.
Yeah, so I think we can definitely take that feedback and to make adjustments. In the initial memorandum that we sent over that just gives some description, we provided opportunities and challenges of both extended term and also a short term, with the suggestion maybe to speak with legal counsel to see what would be the best approach. And so I think that I think that 1 term with the option to renew would certainly be amenable and could be something that we certainly
You get a better buy-in.
Yeah.
You hear me when I say that?
Yeah.
But we don't want to commit you guys if you, like I said, considering, changes or anything like that. But we do know that some stability is important in order to deliver the program.
Well, I did talk to Brian. He called me about something else. And I think he said, listen, what is it, 50,000?
Yeah.
It's on paper. I
Yes,
can't remember what it
yeah.
was, 50,000. And I asked him, I said, will this take place without the MOU or without the money? And he said, yes, but, and I like the way he put it, we're putting in the 50,000 and other resources are putting in. There has to be some type of buy-in from the constituents. It has to be some type of buy-in. I like the way he put that.
You guys are a big part of this.
Yeah. He said, because they put it in, and it's just a way of saying you are going to be there for this.
Yeah.
Because I said, we can do it without an MOU. We've already been doing it. I'm
Yes.
just- Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you
time.
so much. I appreciate it. Glad you showed up in this good weather.
And I'll make sure the presentation gets emailed over to you all's team. I apologize that I wasn't able to get it up there, but Thank y'all for your
Yeah,
time.
you
Thank
messed-
you.
Yeah, you messed up.
Yeah, I know.
But,
Don't be mad at me.
all right, whatever. No, thank you so much.
Thank y'all. Yes, ma'am.
Is this the, final draft of, or final copy of the MOU?
I think, folks are providing their last day feedback, but if you guys still have feedback or comments on the MOU you want to provide, please send them over to Marcus so that we can kind of consolidate them all in the MOU. And before, like anything is signed, we want to make sure that you all are comfortable with what's in there. But I think that's, what you all have is the latest draft. And, if there's any additional comments, just send them over to Marcus. He's consolidating the comments from Fairmont Heights and Sea Pleasant. And then once everybody is comfortable with the language, then hopefully we can do like a big ceremony with press and all that to show the signing of this initiative. Because I think just beyond us in here in the community, I think people in the region want to see what we're doing. There's a lot of excitement and eyeballs on our community, as I'm sure you all already know. And we want to make as much noise about the good as much as they make noise about the other stuff that happens here. So,
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes,
to
ma'am.
you? Just for
I
full
yield.
Oh, sorry. No, you're right. I do. For full transparency, when you have these meetings with all the various representatives, is there some form of minutes or something you can provide?
as far as, like, how many you have?
Of whatever, like you have meetings, Councilman Needham's our representative, or whoever's from Deep Pleasant, or whoever's from Fairmont Heights.
Yeah, was Marcus sending out?
I think we've done summaries, maybe not
Yeah.
necessarily like minutes exactly, but we have done summaries. So I do think that's something that we should make sure that we're tracking, maybe.
You can feed off those summaries, but I'm just curious.
Right. So we can make sure we do that and put them in a location that's also accessible to everyone as well.
Okay, thank you. You guys did a great, you ladies, gentlemen, did a great job. Thank you. Okay, go now. All right. No, I'm joking. I was serious. No. You know you're welcome. But you normally stay. But Brittany said it's time to go. Okay, the next one is, Parks and Recreation Spending Program and the events for 100K. I'm going to solicit some input. You don't have to tell me tonight, but if you could, that would be great. And TA Red, on your back, thank you. You can take some notes, or ATA can take some notes on what the comments are from the council. Let me give you preface with a little bit of info. Chief, if you want to put something in, doesn't matter. Personnel, if you want to put something in. The Parks and Recreation, we are under almost 5 months now to spend $100,000. We normally would have a year, but we don't have the year because we just got notification in December. No, November, I'm sorry, late November. So where we are now is the program, the money can only be spent on programs and events that Parks and Recreation would do, for example. Some things I put out there on the books are, and I cleared this, a trip to New York, it's 100,000, it's a lot of money to spend fast on just programs and events. Capitol Heights Day, if we can get that funded, that may be 15K. I'm just using these numbers, I'm throwing them out. A trip to New York to see a play, rent 2 buses if we can get a strong participation from the residents. I've already talked to some residents, they love the idea. I was also asked about a trip to King's Dominion by another council person. I said, okay, that would be good, especially pulling in your youth, et cetera, et cetera. I'm thinking of a local place like Arena State. I'm thinking of cultural things. I'm thinking we do party stuff, that's okay. But I'm thinking also, there's a lady who does what is it called, hand dancing. There's a small payment, she does it at rec centers, we can pull her in for the senior citizens. I'm just soliciting some ideas. If you don't feel comfortable tonight, email them to me with a copy to TA Wren and ATA Gibson, and let's get this ball rolling, because putting them together is going to take time. So from the 5 months, we may end up being 4 months. But I'm thinking if we have this is money being put into the town, and let's do something for the residents. Okay, I'll start. Anybody want to start with any ideas? All right, let's go to Councilman James. You got your boys and Councilman James.
It'll be very little, the amount that I'm requesting. It may probably be more than about $500.
What you got, sir?
Smithsonian activity.
Take notes, please.
I've
Smithsonian
already
is a
included
suggestion.
trips to museums.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Mhm. That's
Okay.
about it.
Okay, sir. Councilman Williams,
Here's
any
Mayor,
ideas?
On the recommendation you made, I never did, especially New York.
Okay, all right, okay. You can always give me stuff, later, but Councilwoman, you ready, sir? You done? You
I
thinking?
am.
Okay. Councilwoman Anita?
Not just New York, but to Pennsylvania, the Sight and Sound.
Mm. Okay, and the Amish market is up there too, in Reading Town. That's one of the best.
I noted it.
Okay, okay. Anything else, ma'am?
And definitely the capital height thing, because you don't have to take it out of our operating budget.
Absolutely.
Okay,
It just automatically allocate what we spent last year.
okay. Councilwoman Ford?
Mm.
You can always.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Something, maybe something comes just off the top, maybe it's an open mic. Given those youth that had those skills with poetry. It could be singing, it can be lecture, presentations, things like the, I would say, speeches, something of that nature that could be considered as some recreational type event.
Okay, all right, well, we'll expand on it, because you're saying.
Learning as well as.
Okay, so we'll expand on that, okay.
I'm not sure.
I yield.
I like the trip to King's Dominion, and I also like the trip to local plays like the Arena Stage, and maybe go out to a dinner, have dinner somewhere, or, something like that.
Like the Dave and Buster's thing. What all them tickets and dinner, whatever, because you have to move fast.
Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
This man, Councilman Anita?
When it
Oh,
comes-
excuse me, Councilman Amanda.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilwoman.
Is it possible that the guidelines for this can be emailed to us if it has already, I haven't seen it, but is that possible? That's my first question.
There are no guidelines in the email. You have to go through what she did when she made the call. So can you give us the
Yeah.
write-up?
Let me just give you a quick I will give you a quick update on this. So Mayor spoke to Sophia, the person that's handling this case, and I followed up with her, and I've submitted already our scope of services. They don't really have a guideline other than you're supposed to provide what you're intending to do, the type of program. So I did a write-up, which I'm happy to send over to you, which includes some of the activities that was suggested by Mayor and some of the activities that was just spoken. So things such as show, theaters, concerts, bingo nights, game nights, bridge, chess, and board games, line dancing, luncheons, dinner, trips to Amish Village, self-defense courses, yoga, exercise, weight reduction classes, computer training program, arts and crafts, trips to museums, movie nights, amusement parks, knitting, cooking, baking, painting, sketching, jewelry making, outing to surrounding parks. Those are just some of the guidelines, because what they're saying is basically just any activities that enriches, and I wrote here, the adult activity currently being held at the community center, blah, 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 will be based in developing and implementing structured programs that will enrich lives. These activities and programs will immerse residents in recreational, educational, and cultural experiences. I wrote this up, I can send it to you guys. But the idea is, the mayor's right, we only have essentially 6 months to basically go through this. Well, June the 30th, yeah, by the time you finish. So, and also, it has been approved. I got confirmation from it today, with the exception that I cannot use, because I also did a portion with outreach and marketing. And then we can do any of that activity, with the exception that we cannot retain a marketing consultant to do it. So we had to do this in-house, but that's okay. That's the only thing they took away. What I can just send this over to you guys once, have you guys to read at it, and that's it. But it has been approved. Yeah.
Because in the letter, if I may, I'm gonna answer it. Because in the letter we got, all it said was programs and events. That was as definitive as it got, and it asked for articles of incorporation, it asked for certain tax information, it asked for documentation like that. But it did not identify any more than that. And then it said, please respond to this email. And then you have to call them and they tell you what else they need.
Can I add to that?
Excuse me, do you want to yield? on that? Because you can always come back, tell me
I have
in an email.
a few more questions.
Okay.
So just so for clarity, if you could email it, that'd be great. And then the deadline to give this decision is when?
When
Or
did
do
you get what
create a
decision?
deadline? Have they given us a deadline to let them know, or we just need to spend it by the end?
We have to spend it by June 30th.
And you just said it was approved today.
Yes, it's approved. It's approved today, but you need to spend it by June 30th. And the reason they didn't, let me add to the mayors, the reason they didn't give a guideline report is they want you to be free to basically, work your imagination, have your thoughts in terms of what you want to do for your community. So they just said programs, activities to enrich your community. So that was pretty much the guideline.
So I'm wondering if it would be good for mayor and council to make a deadline for ourselves to come up with a final decision of what we're gonna spend the money for amongst ourselves, so that we don't get caught in a cycle of not making a decision and then it becomes too late. So that's just my recommendation, that we have a deadline among ourselves to make a final decision of how that 100,000 will be spent. And I can provide further thoughts and ideas in an email. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna move on. Right, Councilman Reeves, right.
Also, I would like to make a recommendation that when we come up with these ideas, have a general schedule of how much something will cost.
Yes.
As far as like buses to take us to these trips, so we'll know how much we're taking out of this 100K, because we can spend it up real fast, and then we don't even realize it. Also, we got next month, Black History Month coming up. You got Easter, all of those type of activities. Instead of taking the money out of our operating budget, we can use it for these activities, and make it big. Even if we have to go to back down the road here or the Brooks Road, if we can even get that part. But just to make it big, like, and I'm telling everybody shoot me one time, I'm just saying, because we can open it up, not using our money to spend on them, but like capital market, like Calvin just said, even inviting our neighboring people, like if we do the Easter hunt and the Black History, something big for those events, bringing them in. I'm just saying, but we need to have, like, what is it gonna cost to go to these trips? What's it gonna cost to rent a bus? What is it gonna cost for Kings Dominion? How many people, or what is it gonna cost to go to the Smithsonian? We need to know actually how many people, how many bodies is each person gonna be allowed. If let's say Councilman James is allowed 10 people to take with him to the Smithsonian. Okay, now how much is it going to cost? So we include lunch, transportation, subway. We need to have it broken out in dollars.
Well,
Yes.
we already discussed that, because you have to know, because you gotta get the right code. But it's good to say it again. She's sounds good.
Look, I yield.
She's more like this again.
I
You
yield.
wanna keep going?
I yield.
Okay, go ahead.
Those are great ideas. I already have an Excel spreadsheet ready to basically input that information. I just need mayor and council, and I can print it out for you guys to review. All I need is mayor and council to tell me what activities you want to do. And I'll just, like you said, the mayor usually said, for example, trips to New York, going to, what I wrote, the trips to Amish Village and so forth. If you guys finalize that, I can just write it out, make the calls, it's ready to go. I already have an Excel spreadsheet form ready to go.
But she said, just make sure you put
Yeah.
it in writing.
Well, it has to be, because we have to submit it actually to Parks and Recreation for them to review as well.
But it's kind of hard too to put a final total till you see how many people are going. That's the only downside of it. So advertising needs to start like yesterday. However, we're gonna put it out. You can get it out later. Okay, all right, I'm gonna move on. Anything else, Councilman? Okay. Because we'll be here late tonight. Resolution for community room rental policy, TA rent.
Yes, based on the discussions we had previously, I made the changes. And based on, that was a while back in November, basically. I made the changes to the
Is this the one
prescription.
we already approved this?
Yeah, but you guys want to just have a
No,
copy for the
no.
review.
I just want to say, this is the one we already approved.
Yes,
The
it is.
information.
But with the minor changes that's per council,
Sure.
you,
Okay, you
council
want to tell
member.
us what your changes are?
Yes,
You
but I'm
wanna
gonna
read
give
the
you
whole thing?
copies.
Because if you read it, it's a
I'm
long,
not gonna read the whole thing. I'm
you
just
already
tell you
read
the
it
parts.
once, okay, I know.
I'm not gonna read it again.
So what are the changes?
Okay, so here we
Can I
go.
get a copy?
Can I have a tangible copy?
Okay.
Thank you.
I just thought this might be easier to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll read this out to you once, and this is a clean copy because there's such minor thing in there. So basically, we added the language, for example, section 3, number 3. Instead of having like dots, I wrote numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those numerized. Number 3, it includes no illegal or legal drugs, including cannabis. One of the comments previously was that, well, cannabis is legal. Does that mean they can use it downstairs? The answer is no, as per mayor and council. And then I added this, and then of course, our alcoholic beverages, and of course, all cups, this was added, all cups used must be clear or see-through in nature to avoid people basically hiding, alcohol, whatnot, and so forth in color cups. And then very little changes because there was not much.
Yeah, the big change I recall was.
And then,
charge them with the
yes.
chairs and stuff.
And then the user fees are stuck the same. However, I added the words because this was something Councilwoman Anita had noted, was trash cans, trash bags, brooms, and dustpan will be made available. For people who want to clean up and so forth. We did add an opening and closing fee, 65%, $65 flat rate for someone to come in and do this. And we also add the language on the last page, which is refund policy. To note, number 5, basically 7 calendar day notice because of major regional weather conditions, including inclement weather conditions such as snowstorms, hurricane, tornado, or other such natural disaster conditions impacting public safety. Then fees will be refunded upon the town's administrative personnel receiving of a written request for a refund. That's it.
Okay, what does the resolution say?
You guys didn't do a resolution on this, is it?
No, I told you.
You guys
That's why I
passed.
saw here, no. The resolution to adopt these rules.
Okay, I will
That's
go
why
back.
on the agenda I said resolution.
Okay. I can change it to a resolution, not a problem.
No, we'll just have to come back to it. That's okay.
Okay,
You read it, that's fine. We'll look at, but we don't have to review this again. We already took
Nope.
about an hour to do it before.
that's fine.
So we'll just need a resolution to support this.
Okay.
All right? Councilwoman Amanda?
Yes, there's just a few things that I recall that we talked about that weren't included under letter F, user fees. I thought we had decided that we weren't going to charge money for a table and a chair because we're expecting them to put up their own tables and chairs. We thought it would be, and I felt this way a little outrageous to then charge them per chair and per table to use.
A lot of municipalities do. I'm mixed on it, but other municipalities charge for you if you want them to set up stuff. It's not outrageous because others do, but it's up to council. It's up to the council, or you can lower the fees. And we went through this for a long time the last session. That's
Yes,
why I remember it.
Yeah, I agree. We did go through it last time, and that was what I heard several council members agree with that statement, that it would be too much to charge per table and per chair for use of the room. And then the other question I have, when it comes to the $200 deposit, and then I see 4-hour maximum, is this stating that it can only be rented out up to 4 hours?
Yes.
And then so if someone's putting out a deposit and then they're only renting for 4 hours, $40 per hour is under $200. So then we would refund them some of that money back.
Can I answer that?
Okay. So just putting out a deposit that's more than the total amount that they could rent the room for. But yeah, I yield for an answer.
The idea with basic deposit is just that, it's a deposit, which means essentially that if you don't mess up the room, if there's so many problems and so forth, it will be refunded to you in full. So, and also there was recommendations that said, well, if you do less than that, like, to be honest, any damage to our properties will cost us a lot more than $200 to repair. So the idea was simply put, it's just a deposit, and you will get it returned if the room is returned to us in that state. So it's not something that we're taking away, or it's basically we're taking in as revenue, it's just a deposit. You will get it returned, refunded to you, minus any damages or none at all. And the idea I think the mayor actually put up is that, you know, a lot of the stuff that costs a lot more than 100, 200. The original idea was to do $100 deposit. And a lot of the council members said $100 is not enough to repair anything.
You don't need it,
And then the opening and closing fee, so that would be in addition to what they're paying per hour.
Yes. Because somebody has to be here to open and close the doors for them, to make sure everything's actually good. And that person has to verify that there's no damage done to the property. Therefore, we would take the $200 deposit back.
I understand. All right, I'd like to put a motion on the floor and move to remove the $5 per table and $3 per chair from the user fees under letter F in the community room usage rules and reservation procedures.
can you, yield on your motion till I finish with the discussion on that, please? Or you want to just go ahead and do that?
Not putting a motion on the floor.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Does she have a second? I know you want to talk, but she has a motion. 2 seconds. Okay. Any comments on that?
Can you restate that? Yeah.
Councilwoman, Amanda, can you restate that?
Sure. My motion is to remove the $5 per table and the $3 per chair fee under user fees.
Okay. The floor is open for comments. I'll go, I'll go out to you, Councilwoman Wood.
Okay, with this here banquet, with these charges, does this apply to council members as well?
Yes,
Same fees?
yes.
Okay. Also, so there's no, also, you need to say, how many people will that room hold?
50 max.
50?
Max.
So that needs to be in here somewhere. Okay, I hear, that's what I.
Thank you. I'm gonna say this, and I want to make my comment, only because I did extensive research on this, so we have to do right. Community rooms is out there. We're cheap. Trying to rent a community room, we are cheap. The purpose of the community room, in order to get the funding, is really not to rent it out. It's really to use for what we put it in for the residents, insofar as us doing events for the residents. It wasn't really to rent out. And if we do have to rent it out to maintain the integrity of the community room, we just don't let it go for free. That's, nobody does that, nobody. And I'm only saying that from an experience of when I do my own personal social events and going around trying to find different venues for things. So what we're doing is really on the low side. I can't put a motion on the floor, but for the furniture, we've already had some of our tables messed up. So I'm just saying, to me, I would think there would just be a lesser fee for rental. We could just do $100 instead of per chair, $100 furniture rental fee or something. But the furniture is going to get messed up. We're going to have to replace it. So the purpose of charging people for things is to ensure that they take the integrity and keep the things done right. But I yield on that. So it's up to the council.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
What about security?
That's another thing they charge you for. The floor is open to you, Chief and TA, right? Chief, they said, what about security for these events?
Mayor, I was thinking about this when this issue first came up, but it was not really special. Many of the events that are held at, for example, in Glen Arden and other have a security element in it because things can go off the rails unexpectedly, and they're usually required an off-duty police officer, at least one at the Gold Room when we go on. So this room's kind of small. Depending on the nature of the event, you should have a requirement of a off-duty police officer being there that is paid for by the individuals who are sponsoring the event. So
You can
that's
spend
been my
thousands trying to
experience.
rent, I mean, not just, excuse me, chief, but you can spend thousands on trying to do things. People think,
Right.
what we're charging is nothing
Right, it's very,
overall total.
it's very reasonable that we're doing, but we did not discuss that. I thought about it, I just forgot to say something, I think. It was, well,
There's a motion, let's stick to the motion.
I'm sorry.
Any other comments on that?
I use
Yes, ma'am.
What you brought up as far as one fee for the table and chair, make it cheap. The tables and chair, yeah, make it cheap, or because, well, we only have a good 6 tables.
Some of them messed up. So that's the one.
Councilwoman Chair.
No, she got the floor. Councilwoman Nita.
So, because when you, when we're sitting here, $5 per table, $3 per chair, it's like, if you need 20 chairs, that's gonna run you. Gonna run you up, so.
Okay, do you?
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I just, think that, I'm kind of in agreement with Councilwoman Amanda, because for the Brooks Road Rec Center, when you rent that facility, it includes the table and chairs.
But the rental rate is high.
I can't.
Councilmember James,
Yes, Councilman James.
is this rental, what is it limited to? Or, I mean, because I'm thinking like, I have Boy Scouts and I want to use the facility there. So I'm not allowed to use that facility? I have to rent it for my Scouts meeting?
No, we'd have to work out something.
Okay.
You know,
Only for you, okay.
thank you for answering. He has something. You
Thank
good?
you. Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, the votes on the floor, call the vote. I can move on, please.
So I'm gonna read the motion. Councilwoman Amanda said, motion to remove the $5 per table and the $3 per chair fee under user fee section F. Councilmember Amanda Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Nita Anderson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chu,
Yes.
Councilmember Ford,
Yes.
Councilmember Victor James,
Yes.
and Councilmember Ron Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all ayes, no nays, approved.
Councilman Ford, finish with that motion?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we did submit to security, but we didn't put anything in it for security. So if we're doing it on an hourly, I don't think it should exceed $100 for 4 hours maximum. And also the screen projector, the mic fee, it's like a whole lot of fees here. But if we can reduce that to $45, that would be a little more reasonable. You have to take into consideration, I'm sure we would probably give some financial assistance to our seniors. Some have people that's retired, some people just don't have income like that to be able to afford all of this. And they still pay taxes, they still should be able to utilize the center, the community center. So if we can reduce the projector fee and the speaker fee and the opening and closing. That's the motion I would like to put on the floor. 25, no more than $100.
All right, we're gonna have to end with this because I'm sticking to these time constraints. The thing was based on the resolution, it wasn't based on approving things on it. Well, the point is, you did present us with a resolution, so I'm going to respectfully ask you to do that, but we're gonna end it. Because I'm sticking to time, I got to. So, the council is in agreement, there will be no front charge for the furniture at all. That's what the council said. Okay, So what is your motion?
To reduce the screen projectors, the speaker mic and open closing, and also to add the security fee not to exceed $100 for the maximum amount.
It's $50 an hour.
It's $50
Oh,
an hour.
$50 an hour. Okay,
For all cities, so what is up?
it is $50 an hour. Okay, so we doing 50, so. So 200.
Well, that's usually paid directly to the officer by
Okay,
the,
so not a problem. I guess we're gonna reduce these screen projectors. And this speaker and I guess you open and close it, you want to do this, in this, yes, so this is personnel.
Let me tell you what, let's come back to this, because you got a lot, we gotta come back to this, we gotta stop, we have to move on with these.
So I
So,
have a lot there. He just suggested, the increase.
okay, is it a motion or, what do you have?
Yeah, for the full motion.
What is the motion?
And that is to, remove the screen projector, the mic, and keep the opening and closing fee, and have a security fee of, 200, not to exceed $200. It's $50 an hour.
No, nobody just, you have to understand this. These things are valuable, you just can't give these things, nobody does that. You just can't go in there, give you a projector and a screen and all this stuff, it doesn't go that way when you rent. But if you want to put it on the floor, put it on the floor. I don't know where.
Second,
Thank you.
Okay, the motion's on the floor. Any
Councilwoman
comments?
Chu.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not in agreement with Councilwoman Ford because, when we did the rental of the, library, the room, it was easy to rent the room and things like that. But if we needed a projector or if we needed any type of additional equipment, there was a fee for the additional equipment. So it's not free. You don't give them that free. You literally have to pay for any additional, equipment for the room. I yield.
There's a wear and tear association and stuff like that. Comments? Any more?
Yeah, I'm gonna make one last one before I.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Okay, I'm not in agreement with removing the screen projector or the speaker mic fee, but I am in agreement with reducing it and adding in the fee for the police officer or for security measures. I yield.
Okay,
Yes, just for the record, I would like to say, I think that, mayor and council should be exempt from all fees.
no, the motion on the floor.
Oh, that we, okay, motion on the floor,
That's-
reduce it to $50. I'll make a, yeah, across the board.
No, a comment. That's
My
an
comment
amendment
is that,
to her motion.
okay,
You have a comment
Councilwoman,
on that motion first.
for her to, would she say remove it
Mhm.
or
No.
reduce? What'd she say?
Can you cite it?
Sure, my motion was to increase this for security, no more than $200, it's $50 an hour, and I was advised by, as well as removing the screen projector and speaker, $65 rate for each one of those.
Okay, so she said remove. it.
Removing.
Okay, well, I'm not in favor of removing them, but I am in favor of reducing it. So my, okay, so I can't. say
Yeah,
yes.
on that, then
Okay.
okay. And then we're gonna cut it and we're gonna
Councilmember
put this
Mesa.
on for more minutes to do it, talk about it, period. We'll make no decision tonight. Councilwoman Amanda.
So do we even have a speaker in mind?
Yes.
We do? Yeah. Okay, okay, good to know. And then so we're requiring that there's security at every event. If someone wants to rent it if Toastmasters wants to rent it for something, they're gonna be required to have security there. If a community organization wants just to have a meeting, they're gonna be required to have security. I'm trying to be clear, are we saying that you have to have security?
I don't think so.
It would depend on the nature of the event, right?
Can you yield for the chief to come and say something?
I guess I'm asking the mayor and council, if we're putting a security fee in there, are we saying, if you want security, this is the fee you would pay? Or we're saying you have to have security, so you're gonna pay this fee?
Chief?
Well, I'm just gonna use other events and my experiences and the experience of officers that I, work these events. Quite often, if you're having private events, parties, celebrations, we're getting, that 50 people who are not necessarily a part of the community or people who are coming in as guests. And this is not like a, event where you're having some of the events we've had there since we opened. Security is always an element because things could happen in that room very quickly between two people who are beefing, who came into the town beefing. If you're having an event where you're doing a Toastmasters or the Scouts, that's not really something, but if you look at what is being done around the region, that dollar amount is really the base amount for what off-duty officers are being paid and compensated. But it's really predicated on the standards which you're using the room for, right? So if you're using the room as a party, it could be a birthday party or an anniversary party or something like that. Anytime you use that word party, you might want to have security available because it'd be a hardship to bring in our officers from the community who are on patrol for these events. So that's the standard that you'll see in the marketplace.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. My question is, are we saying you might want to have security available or you're required to have security available?
It should be the nature of the event.
So if it should be the nature of the event, then I think that needs to be included and made clear in here about security. So that's my comments regarding security.
And also, I might add, Mayor, is quite often security is not paid through the room or the organization, it's paid directly to the officer. Those individuals who are having this event or ensuring that they have an off-duty police officer, but they're responsible for the compensation directly. So the town would not necessarily be responsible for writing a check or providing any money to the security officer, because it might be an off-duty officer from the county, for example, or from another jurisdiction who's permitted to work secondary employment. We may not have a capital A's officer available to work part-time for that particular event. So it is quite often in these events, even at Glen Arden, they don't even use Glen Arden police officers sometimes, they use other departments, officers, like the county officer, for example. But they're responsible to pay the officer directly, it's not paid through the town.
I'll just make one last statement. In my line of work, I do about 40 to 50 events throughout the entire year. And I consistently work with churches and government buildings all throughout DC and Maryland. And there's a difference between an event venue that is there to make money and to make a profit off of the event versus a community building or a place of worship who's there to provide a space for the community to utilize, especially when their tax dollars go towards allowing us all to be in this room today. So I just want to state that there's a difference between an event venue and a community building. I think our prices should reflect that and be consistent among that. And I think raising them anymore or continuing to keep them high is not in line with that. I know.
Okay, well, I guess we would have to tell all communities and these no municipalities across the board that they're not doing what they should do, because they all charge. And I say that with respect. Okay, so anything else, because we have to move on. The motion is on the floor. TA Red?
Yes, the motion is by Councilman Ford, second by Councilwoman Amanda. Motion to remove the screen or projector, also speaker mic fees. Security fee at $50 per hour for police officer or for after-hour police officer. Councilmember Amanda Anderson.
I'm sorry, you said the last part of that.
Sure, it's the security fee of $50. Second was,
Excuse me 1 second, ma'am.
sure.
I know this is out of order, but you said you want to do a friendly amendment. Yes,
I'd
ma'am.
like to make a friendly amendment that we not remove this from Councilwoman Ford's motion, but we reduce the fees. We reduce the fees and add in the police officer fee.
Reduce the fee to how much?
$30. I'll accept your friendly amendment for $30. I said I would accept it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Councilman.
I would like to make a friendly amendment to Councilwoman Ford's motion to leave in the screen or projector and the speaker mic fee, but reduce it down to $40. And add in the officer's fee of $200.
Maximum, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you wanna try,
Mary?
Councilman Ford has to accept it first.
Okay.
You accept your friendly amendment?
Yeah, can you tell me what we're totaling to rent out our room? I just want to hear the total for a resident.
Let's do the motion.
Yeah.
You accept her friendly amendment and on the floor, and then I have to move on.
Yeah, I just would like the residents to know what their total would be if they're renting out our
Well,
community.
we're gonna do it in another session.
Okay, so I know it'd probably be over $350, close to $400 to rent out our community center.
Councilman Ford, respectfully, please, the motion's on the floor. Do you accept her friendly motion to move from 65 to 40?
Sorry, I did not accept.
She doesn't accept it. Read the motion as is.
Motion to remove the screen projector, speaker, and mic fee. Security fee at $500 per hour for an after-hour police officer.
500.
I'm sorry, $50. I apologize. $50 per hour for an after-hour police officer. Councilmember Amanda Anderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Anita Anderson?
No.
Councilmember Omer Pro Tem Chu?
No.
Councilmember Ford?
Yes.
Councilmember James?
No.
Councilmember William?
No.
So that's 4 nays and 2 yays. That this didn't
Okay,
approve.
what we're going to do, the motion failed. Please. What we're going to do, we're moving off this subject. We're gonna bring it back in total and discuss this again, the whole thing. But we're gonna move on. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Ford?
Councilman Ford, we're going on to another topic.
Yes.
Okay, so we are now at, Civic Plus update, Councilwoman Amanda.
Here, this is for you. I don't think we're here. I'll pass it out.
Okay. She did the all of it.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I gave everybody a website redesign timeline for the town of Capitol Heights. A little bit of, I won't be long, but a little bit of the backstory. When we reached out to Civic Plus to work on the website, it was realized that we're extremely limited in the current design that we are under contract with. The town went under contract, a new contract with Civic Plus about a year ago, maybe a year and 3 months ago now at this point. And in order to be able to significantly update, change, rearrange, and allow the website to be more user-friendly, not only for the staff and council, but especially for the residents, we really needed to change the type of website, the formatting, and do a complete redesign of it. And so with that, we were able to engage with Civic Plus to make that happen. And there was money being used from the grant to cover that cost. We had to come out of a contract for that because we were not, because in their timing, we're coming out of contract, they're fitting us in and doing the best they can to make it happen, especially when they weren't scheduled to do this for another 3 years. So I just wanted to share the timeline and just be transparent and open about the process. So the council, the town understands how the process works. Currently, we're at the client deliverables, where we're sending them our logo, our pictures, our back end. There's like a whole list of things that's being sent over to them. And that's about to be completed in the next couple of days. And then you can move through the tasks, the start date and end date, the task description, and kind of the process. There's the initiate process, analyze, the design and configure, optimized and the launch. The official launch at the very, very latest would be, I highlighted in yellow for you on the second page, would be in May. It's likely that it can be done before that, as we move throughout the process. They do a soft launch beforehand to make sure that there's no issues. They'll do an audit on it, make sure that on our end, the user end, everything's working correctly. And then they'll do that hard launch, which you can see in May. The last thing I'm asking for is the next thing that's coming up is the design discovery meeting. That's being scheduled towards the end of January. I'm just offering if there's any council members who would like to meet prior to that to give input or any last minute thoughts or design concepts. I'm welcome and happy to meet with you so that that can be presented to Civic Engage. And that I yield.
Thank you, thank you. Any comments on that? Or we can keep-
Councilwoman Chu,
Yes.
is it possible that I can get a copy of the deliverables, the list of deliverables?
Sure. Councilman Ford, thank you, from Councilmember Anderson, I appreciate that effort. And it's, yes, I would love to meet with you. I yield.
All right. Anybody else? Okay, this is not the correct agenda that I'm using. I don't have the one that I made the revisions to. So the section on approval of the minutes is not on here.
Yeah, it is. I don't know.
I'm looking at it.
Okay, so then Jessica, did you print the wrong one out?
Definitely, P. We're in session.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just saying, so I'm going to have to backtrack. We did not approve the minutes. And also, you wanted to talk about this, TA Rand, that's not on here, but I know it's on the revised one.
Yeah,
Okay, so either one. You want to do the minutes and you want to talk first?
either or.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so if you want to go on the minutes, I basically revised based on the revision earlier today, and I assumed that Jessica had basically printed out, but maybe she printed the wrong one. But with that being said, the minutes was sent to you guys. It was a very long one that was done on December the 9th. That was basically our annexation. It was 10 pages long that Jessica was able to complete. And we went through several rounds. She looked at it, I looked at it, and it was sent to copies of it is on your table. I'm sorry we didn't get that out to you until today.
Yeah, I was
Earlier
going to
today.
request we get it.
Yes,
We have
but
that sent
there
out
was
before.
quite a bit of information. We had snow days and we also had holidays. So, and then Jessica was working on this for quite some time. And it was in addition to other things she was doing. That was in addition to December the 3rd. So she completed all of December's meetings and work sessions, and that's been submitted to you. Some of the meetings were actually 10 pages long. So we did not get it to you guys in time, unfortunately. I'm sorry for that. Going forward, we will do better. But in this case, unfortunately, we were only able to get it to you today. And I gave hard copies to you guys on the table and electronic copies.
Thank you. Council, are you ready to approve or do you need more time? Because I haven't read it. Okay, we're gonna have to move on because it was sent out too late. Okay, we'll work on that. Thank you, TA Rand. You want to go?
Yes, and the next thing is the Town of Capitol Heights task list. We're gonna start writing down all the lists and everything that we're actually working on and so forth.
That's the long sheet we have.
Yep, it's this sheet right here. And it's gonna include everybody's information to show that we're kept aware, actually our council and everybody's kept aware of what is needed to be done. As you notice, some of the areas are blank, or left blank, because I need information from you regarding to that. In order for me to actually have a start date and due date and comments. So this is a rough draft, and I need support in terms of filling it in. That's it.
Okay. And one thing I said, it's actually of the action items too. So when you look at this, and then you'll have your suspense date, et cetera, et cetera. So it's in the hands of the administrative staff to keep us aware of from every meeting. You need to add to that sheet. Anything open, like for example, this is open now, we need a resolution that should go on that sheet. We need a resolution to discuss.
Yes.
Okay, just so you know.
Yes.
And when you follow up on the MOU, all these are action items. we
It's
have to
on
talk
here,
about.
yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
And I also noted it's fine too. Some of these are mayor and council supported by town TA and staff. Others are yours, mayor supported by TA, The mayor is supported by TV. Others are Mayor Pro Tem Chu. Others are Councilman Ford. Others are Councilman Benita. Others are Councilman Manda. Others are Councilman James.
You need to keep us honest. Councilman Chu, who was for it and who was for? Okay.
I just have a quick question. Priority, who would determine which project will be, priority? Would it be the mayor and council or TA? I'm just trying to understand, because priority would be medium, low, and high. So we would need to know which priorities supersedes each other, So who would make that decision? I yield.
I can work with her on the color chart. Put a color, put a priority, and then I'll give it to council. I'll send it out. I can put a color code on it, and I send it to council to look at.
That's what I'm asking. Color chart, Mayor.
Yeah,
Color chart priority.
okay, let's keep it moving. It's not almost one o'clock. You had something?
No,
Okay, all right, great. Okay, so the next one is, Councilman Ford, are you next? Organizational chart. I put that under, so we finish on it.
Oh, yes, thank you, TA, for the update. It looks fine to me, unless the colleagues have some questions.
No,
You good?
it's good.
It looks good to me, yeah.
Okay, Tia,
Then may I have your permission to bring out the resolution so you guys can sign it after the meeting?
okay, resolution is not on the agenda.
Well, last time you guys didn't
We
sign.
we
already
approved
did
it,
it.
yeah, we approved, we just never
already
signed
We
it.
just need to sign?
Yeah.
Yes,
Thanks for the
Make sure we get
correction.
it updated.
Awesome, okay, great.
thank you. That's what
All right,
check that one out.
Councilman Ford, you wanted a few minutes to discuss the tracker again.
Oh, yeah, I don't have it before me right now, but yeah, we did discuss the tracker, and I see that, TA, you had, come up with this task list here, and I think that's a great, thing to have a task list. I did hear Mary say that she would provide some, guess priority color coding, and then I guess the mayor and council would decide in terms of what is considered priority. And give some, I guess, a leverage, something, what that means, those coding. That's really good for the town administrator to keep, track of what's happening in the town. And what I'm asking, in addition, is that, the mayor and council, be held accountable within themselves and have something on that list, including like this, we haven't gotten to the strategic plan, but at least having something that we would, like to do. I like to have, something that we can move forward to, have something our constituents can look forward, to doing. And I did hear that you said for this list that TA has presented, that is something that we would add to. So similar to the tracker that I presented. So if we have something already that's been created, this is great. That was included in the resolution that we have something developed, and I see that TA has developed that. So since we do have this now developed, I would like to still present or propose the approval of the resolution, just documenting that we continue with this method of holding ourselves accountable to what needs to be done in the town. That was pretty much the basis for the tracker.
Councilwoman Chu, you do know the resolution did not pass, so we cannot go backwards. We have to start anew.
Right,
Okay,
so that's
yeah.
why I was bringing it back up. It's on.
No,
Oh,
no, it's not on the agenda. You said you just wanted to speak. So you need to bring up a new resolution because that one failed. So you
No,
deal for her?
I don't yield, because I'm sorry, Mayor,
Okay.
I just need to get some clarity. So if it's on the agenda, and it's the tracker that I wanted to bring
Well,
up.
on the agenda, we talked about that and you said you wanted a few minutes to discuss why they did not. And I said, you cannot challenge a vote, but you just want to speak about it. I showed you the courtesy and put it on the agenda.
Okay, so there was a misunderstanding, but I do see we have a tracker on the list, and with it being on the agenda, and it's still in line with the discussion at hand, not outside of the topic.
Doesn't say resolution. It says comments.
Yes, okay. So I would like to know the difference in the tracker that was devised by the TA that was also included or suggested in the resolution that I presented at our previous meeting. I do see that the council is favorable, is favorable about this tracker, this task list here. And so I would ask just for some clarity, what what the difference is. And the tracker that I proposed in the resolution, why that was declined, but yet we are doing it, which is a good thing. But it's not documented that it's something that should be done and needs to be done. Yeah, just for my colleagues also, just to ensure on that.
Okay. I thought this was good because that would give some, I can't think of the word I want to say, that we would know this is what was done in the last administration. And in the administration before that, it was done. They did not, they had a tracker because I asked for the tracker, but overall, the town administrator kept the council on point. Every meeting, the town administrator brought in the things that were not completed, like old business and new business, which is how your agenda is really supposed to read. We would know what the old business was based on the status. And then we would proceed. That is how the agenda is supposed to be done. Okay? So therefore, the tracker for all, I researched again, the tracker, we've done everything on the tracker, and the tracker does not mean that everything is going to be done the way you think it's going to be done on the tracker. This is a much more visible thing. It's in the hand of the administrator from every meeting. She tells us, not just on a tracker and say, oh, we as the council have to do 95 things because we didn't do this 50 last week. This is coming every meeting to tell us where we are. Also, for an administrative function, there is no need for the resolution, which did not pass. But it serves the same purpose, and actually, it's a better way of doing it. So that is why she's presenting this to the council tonight. And as usual, everybody can put something in there. She will keep a running summary of all these things. So that is a difference. It does not, the tracker did not pass and the resolution did not pass. So my thought was, what can we do to keep us in line? And I thought that was good in lieu of us not passing, the council not passing what you put out.
Thank you for you sharing that with my colleagues. Ed?
We're over the time limit. So what else do you have? You said you wanted to do your comments.
And input.
This was your moment.
Yes, just add that input from my phone.
Okay, is there any input from anybody else? Okay, let's move on. It's 9, I'm just trying to, okay. I'm trying to be on time with this stuff. Okay, schedule of dates. What I did was, because we are behind in some things, I'm gonna pass these out. Everybody has a calendar?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it would be a good idea to have the calendar so we could look at it instead of the phone. Okay, we
You have
need
extra copies?
Mhm.
You have extra copies of the calendar?
It's just a calendar. Uh-huh. So where we are now is, I was just looking at it. Okay, we have the cancel work session. Let's get a date for that. That was the work session for the personnel. Open for suggestions. Councilwoman Amanda. Councilwoman Amanda, you got any ideas?
No comment. Thank you.
Okay, anybody on,
Personnel.
we can wait until the next one. It would go to February the 27th. I mean,
Where is theirs?
oh, got it. Okay. Okay, you want to go February the 3rd? That's our next actual. Okay, you want, okay, so we don't, okay.
I'm sorry, should you repeat that again?
That's the work session that we have to on.
I'm sorry, which day?
February 3rd, TA.
February the 3rd.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Okay. The next thing is senior staff evaluation. We probably will have to do a special session. So give me some suggestions. We are still within the time limits of 30 days, give or take after, because the contracts say that. But we need to finalize that this month, not go into the spring. Any suggestions?
Is everybody else?
You want to do Martin Luther King? Who said that? You said that?
22nd.
Oh, 22nd. Okay, anybody, 22nd, is that good?
January.
January 22nd, is that good to come and talk about? Yeah. Okay, 22nd. So Councilman James, can you do it?
Yeah.
All right,
It's 7,
what's the time?
7 o'clock.
7? Okay,
Councilmember Newman,
yes, ma'am.
can you clarify this evaluation, are the employees a part of this evaluation in the state?
Yes, for senior staff.
That's the senior.
Yes, for senior.
That's what I'm asking, is the senior staff a part of this evaluation, or is it just council meeting?
Oh, just council, you're right, because we need to get closure on what we're gonna do.
Right.
Which would be all the write-ups, everything. Good question. Anything else, anybody?
So what date would you want to do, the staff evaluation with the staff? That's my next question.
Okay, I'm good, that's another one, okay, what's your date on that? Give me a date.
Councilmember Amanda,
Yes, ma'am.
I cannot do the 26th through the 30th.
Okay, you can do the 26th through the 30th, okay? Councilman Amanda can't do that last week in January, we have to do it in January. Unless we flip the 22nd and do the final day on the 22nd, we could do 2 days in a row, because we have to put all the paperwork in order, and then we have to schedule the evaluation in January. So what do you want to do? And we would want Councilman Amanda to be a part of it, okay?
So y'all saying the 21st and then 22nd?
Unless you want to do the 23rd, if you want to break in there, we need to do them together and get it over.
It's what 23rd.
Now, you can go back to,
20th, I had said,
You
holiday. Then y'all can come back on the 22nd. So y'all off, we can come early. get it
No,
over.
not all.
so what are your dates now?
23rd, man.
23rd would be which one? Councilman Williams, next day.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that good with everybody? Tell me. Okay, so that would be the final. Okay. What time? 7 again?
7 o'clock.
Does that work with our senior staff? Are there any issues?
Wait, I'm sorry. I thought this was just for you guys to see the objectives, right?
No,
We will
the
also be there.
23rd will be the day we do the reviews, the evening of the 23rd. The 22nd is when we finalize all the paperwork, everything we have to do. That's roughly a little over a week. We have to get all this done. And then the 23rd is when we present it.
Okay, so 22nd is when you get everything done, but the time that you need us to be here is on the 23rd.
Yes, ma'am.
At what time?
Yeah, okay.
So, okay,
So
so,
we'll have to give them different times.
but that's for
We might
January.
have to start this earlier, like maybe 6 or 6:30.
Okay, that's great.
So we don't have to go
We're
late.
done late. Okay,
We'll figure out the
but
time.
it'll be, the dates will be January the 23rd.
Yes, excuse me.
But make
Tia.
sure you
Wait,
guys
wait. Tia, read that, please.
For January the 23rd.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
Can we just do 6 o'clock?
is that
That
good?
goes to the council? Okay, thank you.
6 p.m., okay. You?
I yield.
On both?
No. Which
No,
one?
just on the 23rd.
Councilman, you?
I yield.
Councilman Amanda?
Yeah, I will do my best to be here by 6. I have to come from Northwest DC, so I can't 100% guarantee, but you can try to
do
6, but I
What
mean,
about the middle, 6:30? Is that good? Okay.
it's really the same,
Oh,
to be honest. I will do my best. I just don't put coffee go.
Yeah,
yes, okay. All right, so the other one is, the charter review. Okay, we gotta do the personnel. Now, we want to start the charter review. We don't need to do them all back to back, because I know you'll get burned out. What day is February? You got the work session is the 3rd. I'm going to put, I took some of the stuff off already. I took some of the stuff off of, the work session. The personnel objectives, no, I took stuff off. So I'm going to add on there, begin the charter review insofar as how we need to do it. And do we want, which attorney here, I think Kevin Best would be good, and whatever. So let's at least, I'm gonna say intro, the charter review. Would that be on the 3rd? Is that okay with everybody?
And we still gonna do the personnel manual.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm gonna put every, I'll put this up here. Okay.
February 3rd.
I'm just trying to get my dates in. Now, we have out-of-date ordinances. So, really bad. So give me a date. Doesn't have to be in February, but I would say, since we're doing the charter, we can start overlapping. You know, if you have two things, you can always an hour here and an hour there. So the charter's gonna take a while. So we can go into March or April for the work session, but we have to start the ordinance too, because that's the problem. So give me a date. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are these out of date ordinance, will we be given those, so we can start looking at them? So they will be identified. In other words, okay,
Excuse me, T.A. Ren, can you get us copies of the ordinances?
Which one? All of them? From which year?
It's not
they're
that
out
big.
of date.
How many have we got?
We can get the whole thing. It's not-
It's not big, just the whole thing. We need to, so Councilman Nita had a good one. We need to review them before we,
So
just.
copies of all the ordinances, okay?
Anything else, Councilman?
My suggestion, because the personnel manual is done, we just gotta go, with the exception of going through these here tabs of just those pages that of the updates, of the edits. So that should take no more than an hour. Then we begin the charter review. We say we stay on an hour for that. And I mean, even if we keep pushing it out, yeah, we need to get that, so.
Okay, you got, no, you can't do all that, because there's no way with the personnel stuff. And then we're gonna do the charter, and then do the ordinance, no.
How would we-
3 hours?
Councilwoman Chu?
Unless we do 30 minutes for charter, and 30 for that. We can do 30 minutes.
The personnel manual isn't on here.
Yeah, no, for the February, yeah, we're moving it.
February 3rd.
We don't see it on the agenda.
On the
These,
calendar.
no, on the calendar, we're doing the calendar.
I'm looking at the agenda.
No.
We're doing scheduled dates for cancel work
That's it.
sessions.
That's the cancel.
Schedule
That's-
evaluation.
But that
charter
personnel
review,
was,
and
that's what it is, the personnel manual. But that's what it is, that's the work session we cancel. So she's just saying combine that with the work session. Y'all wanna do that? 30 minutes for the charter review and 30 minutes for the ordinance? And y'all wanna do that?
Councilwoman Chu.
Okay. Yeah,
Not gonna wait till she give.
you know, Councilman
I'll think about it, yeah.
Lee? Okay.
I think to, because we really need to go through the ordinances. I have the copies of the ordinances. I think it would be a good idea if we could, start on them in April. That way, in April, because it's, a lot of them are outdated. It's not even, when you go against the law, it's on the ordinance we have. It's not even on the books anymore. So, I just think that April will give us a better time, because the charter, I guess, depending on the charter can be a lot.
The charter's already done. You know, we've had two. We paid thousands of dollars. We have Fred Sussman and we have Kevin Best. They both did the charter. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Our charter is not updated. It's a living document. And all we have to do is approve what they did. I'm just telling you, so we're not rewriting the charter. You know, it's our bylaws, not, our, trying to say. So I can understand that. That's fine.
I'm just saying,
Everybody
because it's taken us a long time just to complete the personnel manual.
I know.
This should have been done a long time ago.
Well, it really hasn't taken, Councilwoman. It really,
Okay.
it hasn't really.
Wait. You done? For real? You want it? So you're saying we're not motioning.
Whatever
it's not
the
needed,
council
we don't need a
decides.
motion.
It's whatever the
You're
council
saying you
decides.
think you'd like to push it to April.
Nope, whatever the council decides.
Okay, Councilwoman Benita, you yield?
I yield.
Okay.
Well, the personnel manual, we did map out the dates and how long it was gonna take. It's
Mhm.
probably, we're only probably waiting 2 weeks behind our original time frame to do that. And we did say the 1st of January, we would start on the charter, which we are on target. Well, not sort of, sort of. It was 1st of January, but here we are, we're gonna take it to February. I think that we need to get on those ordinances as soon as possible. April is pushing it out too far.
We're gonna go to March.
I think March.
Is that good? Mayor Pro Tem?
It's up to y'all, whatever y'all want to do.
Okay, that would be pushing that to March, not pushing, March, we'll do charter and, whatever. Charter and what? Okay. Okay, we're good?
March 3rd.
What y'all can do is actually keep the calendars on up here, whatever you wanna do, but, and we'll keep some more sheets whenever. It's big, but it's still, we can add stuff to it. All right, we good? Okay, let's do that. Okay, stormwater management, TA Ren?
Yes.
TA Ren, remember, we're in session?
I just want to correct something. that's
I'm
wrong.
just telling you. Okay, stormwater management grant. The reason this is on here is because I sent out an email, Councilman Anita brought that subject up, and we already experienced a little problem with the ice and so forth. She brought that up, and I know for a fact, you and I both know, we reached out to the grant writer, Mr. Conley, and Mr. Conley said there was something he asked you to do the survey. I know for a fact you did do the survey through our CPJ. I'd like to know what happened with that, because that was a big, big opportunity that the town did not. So I'm just saying, follow up, we have to do the follow up on this stuff, because that's how I knew he didn't do it, because I did follow up on it. So my question to you is, what do we do next? What's our next plan?
There's no loss, because the storm drain, basically grant is continuous. So another round's coming up in basically March and April.
That's my point, though, we did do December, so there is time-wise, so you're saying.
Okay, no, but there's
next
two
one?
parts to this stormwater situation.
Okay.
One part is basically what Councilman Anita had forwarded on to me, which was basically a legal dumping educational aspect, which he actually sent me an email that he dropped the ball on it because he was focusing very much on the annexation. Therefore, that took priority, therefore that's why he didn't complete that portion of it in December. In December. And then basically, I'm just saying what he wrote
I
in
got
the
you.
email, which
I
I
got
have.
you. Okay.
Because I think, could you please write an email so it's very clear? And then there's another portion to this is something that you, I apologize, that was the portion that you sent over. There was something else that Councilwoman Anita and Councilman Ford basically was at MML and passed me the information to. Do you remember that gentleman? I've been in contact with him. He's been in contact with another person for the municipality. In fact, they're part of the environmental study group in University of Maryland. I've been in contact with them, and they're going to help us get additional funding that will even help us write the grants and so forth for stormwater. No, not the mayor. University of Maryland, there's a group there. It's two people. I think one, Jennifer, and the other one, I'm bad with names. I think Christina is a gentleman that she passed me the contact to, and I've been talking with. And then those two ladies are going to help us get additional funding. And she said she would also help me write some of the funding and basically process it. So that's been ongoing. It's been paused a little bit because of the snowstorm and the holiday, but we're picking right back up. So there's two parts of it. So in terms of stormwater, we're not gonna let it drop. It's gonna continue on. Also, I did call CPJ in terms of asking where did that report ever amount to?
I think she sent it.
I have to check. I'm not
She
sure.
sent the email.
Well, if there's an email, then please, if you have it, please share with me. I might have missed it.
That's true. That's
Yes.
okay. I'll be fine.
So that's what I'm saying. So there's several parts to the stormwater aspect. And another part of the stormwater that John did come through on is 750,000 in terms of tree canopy. So that's also part of that, because tree canopy, trees basically goes into the whole stormwater system, in which and this is part of which I'm gonna put my tracker, which I'm about to send you guys. I have the email written up. I just haven't sent it to you guys yet.
And you have to explain, I'm being honest, because I don't understand that part.
It's
So
all
I
in
don't
detail.
mind you explaining it to me. That's fine.
I have it in detail, everything down to how it will be implemented, how it will be executed, and what we need to do at the town, everything.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
NSD vehicle leasing.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. So I put this together because as some of the members know, a lot of the members are talking to me about this. So we put something together whereby we can actually get the cars we need for both NSD as well as basically PW folks, because they're in
The
dire.
members that the members are talking about this.
No, I said, well, yeah, it's the NSD guys, the PW
Oh,
guys.
I thought you
They're
said.
desperately needing some, cars, because I have pictures, a lot of the cars are falling to bits and falling apart. So what we're doing is, instead of doing a purchase, if you take a look at this part here, this little section right here, that tells you how much it will cost if we were to actually buy these. That's the initial outlay of the cost, which is $240,000. However, if we were to lease it, we only have to pay about $52,000 and $524. And you're going to ask me, how am I going to come up with the initial cost of the deposit? As you can sort of see, not deposit, but the initial outlay. What we're going to do, which is I've already got a preliminary. Sorry. Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to understand. 52 covers all the cars?
All the cars.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. I've already done a preliminary write-up.
Councilman, you need to understand before you go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, now, the price is good, but when you lease cars, they give you a mileage, so many miles.
Yep.
to put in.
Right here, 15,000.
15,000 a year.
Yep. And then,
Hold on. If it's 15,000 a year, what are they currently putting on these cars per year here?
I'm ready. So basically, for example, I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm sorry.
You're welcome.
Because I know you're very detail oriented, so I'm ready. Okay, so I'll give you an example, right? So our Ford TK 2007, we, and basically 17 years old, we only have 63,855 miles on it. That's 2007. Something simple. Basically, like the Mission hatchback 2020, we only have 16,884 miles on it. We do not run. I mean, that's a 4-year-old that has 16,000 miles on it. A 17-year-old only has 63,000 miles on it. An 8-year-old only has 35,000 miles on it. And these are all direct breakdowns, which I can share with you all. We don't put that much miles on our cars at all.
Well, the town's not that big.
Nope.
I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah. And then what we're gonna do is basically the initial outlay. I've already got a preliminary cost if we were to basically sell the cars to them. Even though for example, the Ford TK, it's 8 years old. We're still gonna be in 2016. We'll still be able to get $8,500 out of it. I actually priced each one of the cars that we have existing.
Well, the purpose of leasing is not to buy the car in the end. It's to
No.
lease it and move on.
Right, but there's still
Buy it,
initial
it's a
outlay.
deal.
I agree, but if you look at this, there's still gonna be initial outlay of cost of some sort. And like I said, in terms of, because what I'm looking at is very simple. There's initial down payment of 10%, it's right here, right? That added together is the amount, I'll tell you what it is. That initial amount added together would be, sorry, I did have this written down, but if you add up basically the initial outlay of 57, I'll just do it really quickly, of 10%, which is basically, hold on one second, it's 5,700 plus 5,700 plus 6,350 plus 2,800. I still have to do initial 10% deposit of $17,050. So instead of dipping into the town's cash of any sort, what I'm gonna do is sell some of the cars that we really cannot use anymore for what it's worth at this point. And I did a calculation of that. And if I were to sell 3 cars, which is the hatchback Leaf 2020 for 11,200, plus the Ford FTK for 2,700, and the Ford TK 2016 for 8,500. That would be 22,400 more than covers my cost of $17,050 with remaining balance. So what I'm trying to do is sell off the cars while we can, with some value, residue value to it, before it has no value to it. And then basically in exchange for newer cars at a much more economical rate. That's where I'm at.
Okay, you open for Q&A now?
Yes, of course.
Councilwoman Chu.
Yes.
Historically, every councilman,
And, Tia, where did you say the money was coming from?
Selling the cars, the existing cars that just basically is broken down, but there's some residual value.
You
to
said
it.
that was 17,000.
Yes, selling, no, selling the car would give me $22,400.
But we would need to pay 52,000.
That's for the, no, that's the initial, yes, we do for the year is 52,000.
And where would that be coming from?
That would be coming from several places. The SAP, or our stop camera, or our speed camera. Because the purpose of those funds, I'm allowed to purchase vehicles with it, especially for the purpose of security and public safety for the town. And we've already generated about $56,000 on speed cameras without the Winter Walker Mill Road. And that needs to be used or it goes back to county.
And then the type of damage and issues with the car, can you just give me a quick
Yes,
sense of what
absolutely.
that is?
Yes, basically, well, one of the ones for TK, I actually have pictures. Better than that, I have pictures. It's basically rusted out. It's extremely dangerous to drive. In fact, I remember Councilwoman Nita said some of those tires are bare. You should not be driving on that. And basically the hull of the truck, as I wish Mr. Gibson would be here to explain to you, has like, it basically has a hole in it. It's no longer viable, it's not applicable. The other car that we have has no heat. The little hatchback has no heat. So what's been happening now on cold days, Mike, folks, has been taking the cold car so Arjane or somebody else can have the warm car. And he's freezing. So there's a lot of issues. And with electric cars, it's hot in the summer, doesn't start. Cold in the winter, doesn't start. So either way, it doesn't work. This is all gas. And then on top of that, the other one, the Ford TK, is the 2007. It is just way too old for it to be utilized by us. Because we're in 2025, and this is 18 years old now. It's time. It's really time.
Okay, I yield. Thank you.
Okay.
I noticed that you have the van here.
Yes, I do.
Are we, saying that, I know we're not replacing the electric van,
Nope.
and I know that we have a lot of issues with the van.
Yes.
Can you give us just a little bit more information on the van that you're trying to purchase?
This is just a standard 15 passenger van. Like I said, it's a 2024. It tows about basically 15 individuals, and then it's just a standard van. At this point, any van, as Mr. Gibson would tell you, is highly appreciated because our senior citizen has not had any transportation of any kind for a very long time. And as you recall, you did promise all those residents that you would have a van somehow, moving forward, right? Like, because they were complaining and very angry with you.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that because, even when we had the dinner down here for the
Yes.
seniors, that was the first thing they kept
Yes,
asking me. when we gonna
absolutely.
get transportation again.
Yes.
So, I appreciate that.
And you were sympathetic to their issues because they couldn't go to doctors, they couldn't pick up their prescription. Okay.
I yield.
Yep, no questions. Thank you so much for the information.
Yeah.
First on the bus.
When will we get our bus?
Oh, that's the problem. Apparently, Mr. Gibson would tell us about, but there's always parts of the engine that's wrong. He explained to me because it's an electric van, they have to order special parts. It has to be from California or something like that. I mean, you might know something about it. The chief's nodding his head. It's just a mess and headache. Is that fair to say? He's mentioned to you on several occasions that bus just doesn't work. Yes, but you didn't pay for it, so it's a good well, thank you very much.
No.
Well,
Because of the
Okay, we're on top.
okay, we're on topic. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Councilman James.
No, she didn't yield yet.
Oh,
Thank you.
You? Okay. Yeah, okay. Councilman Williams?
No comment, Mayor.
Okay. Councilman James?
I'm not for it.
Okay, okay. Now, does the council want to accept the motion for this? Do you want to talk about it, or what do you want to, not tonight? Or do you want to bring it back to the next one for a vote?
Councilman Nita.
I'm just asking, somebody has put a motion on.
okay.
I move that we that we move forward as far as offering these other cars while that we still have some while we still have some value to them, selling them off and purchasing these other vehicles. So our staff can at least have working feet.
Councilman Ford, second.
Who seconded it?
Okay.
It was a time.
Okay. If there's no comments, let's move it to a vote.
I do have one comment, sorry. I was just thinking that, and I'm not like trying to like produce more work or make it more difficult, but is it possible to do like a wheelchair accessible van? So I'm thinking with a 15-passenger van, seniors, I mean, it's hard for agile folks to crawl into a 15-passenger van, and I'm thinking seniors and walkers and wheelchairs. Is that a possibility at all?
That's why we're keeping the electric one, because that one has wheelchair accessibility. If we were to get the 15 passenger, it's way more expensive than, because it's pretty much a specialized car. So I've already asked that question. They said that's why they said recommend that we keep the electric cars once, the van, once it's fixed, you can actually just use it. But most of the mileage will basically be put forth the van.
So with the 15-passenger van, is the idea to use it for residents or to use it for
Residents.
town work?
Residents. And I did ask Mr. Gibson, even 505 guys, not that many people need to use wheelchair accessibility. It's more basically, if they do, they call Metro Access, or like I said, once our electric van is basically repaired, they can use that.
I just want to make sure we're keeping those.
Yes,
things in
absolutely.
mind. I also want to make sure that if we're going forward with this money towards a 15-passenger van, that we're, keeping it clean and tidy if it's going to be used for the sake of our residents and helping fulfill their needs as well. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Let's take the motion to a vote, please. Get ready.
Councilmember Amanda Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Anita Anderson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chu,
Yes.
Councilman Ford,
Yes.
Councilmember James.
Yes.
And then Councilmember Ron Williams.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, motion passes, majority vote.
Yeah.
Okay. Collection of proprietary information,
This year, senior
senior
staff.
staff objectives, okay, what I'm putting. I put this out, I got no response from anyone except for Councilman Ford said she'd like to go to closed session. And Councilman Anita talked about it with me when I saw her here one day. But overall, I got no response, I got no objectives. So what I'm gonna do is pass them out to everybody. I wrote them up, you can look at them. And tell me what you think, we'll start down there. Objectives for your senior staff. The reason for you have to have objectives. The chief had objectives. Well, a senior staff member had objectives. One had no objectives at all. No, I'm just giving it to you. To look at, I'm just giving it to you. You're not doing it. Your objectives is not closed session. No, you can go on anyway. We're not gonna talk about it anyway. I was just giving you the review.
Oh, okay.
Everybody got it?
Yes.
And you tell me what you think, email me whatever you want to do, and we'll, you have something to talk about for our actual meeting, okay? This is for the other individual, so take your, please. Feel free to mark up whatever you want to do, but, one is short because I didn't, okay.
Wait a minute.
What you got?
Actually, this is, yeah, that's the chief's right.
Yeah, I'm coming with the other.
Right there. Mayor, it's on your book.
Oh, I got some more?
No, we good down here. It didn't go down that end. It didn't go that
Sorry
far.
about that, okay.
Councilmember Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say thank you, Mayor, for providing this and getting it started. I appreciate it.
Thank you for that, okay. That one, I know we already have a set, but for 25, I start thinking, and I said, okay, they can add something, add whatever. Okay, we'll keep it moving. So you got something to work with when we come back with the actual process.
Appreciate it.
Okay, get brownie points, okay.
Not
Part-
really.
I know that came from you and I know it's true. It's true. Parking enforcement ordinance, TA
No.
Red.
No, collection of personal
Uh, Thank you. I'm trying to move too fast, right? Collection of proprietary information. The reason I brought this in is because I need an understanding and the council needs an understanding. A resident came into the town, said this, and I'm not going to go into who else heard it because that's not, we're at an open meeting. It's not really necessary. But the comment was they did not want to come back to the food giveaway because the council members are asking for information that really has nothing to do with the food giveaway. So the collection of information insofar as the name, the email address, all this kind of stuff. Since we're not saying it has to be geared to the residents, this question was asked already. And the feedback I got was, no, it may not be all the residents because we're feeding people, so it shouldn't really matter. So that was just a question I asked and that was the answer I got. So, did we collect information at the toy giveaway? Do we collect information because the town is not getting this information? So who's getting this information? Why is it being collected? Because it's that town event. So why is the information being collected and it's not being coordinated with the town administrator nor given to the town administrator? Can anybody answer that?
Councilwoman Ivey.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, the toy thing, whatever was collected, that wasn't from us. We just happened to be working the table. So that was from Mr. Ford and his organization. So they obviously got that. In regards to the food giveaway, we have not collected or requested any emails or anything from anybody in over a year or a year and a half now. And then when we did, it was only to send out information about the giveaway, the times and or different things that changed. So if someone came back and told you that recently, they're lying. Yeah.
When was the last time you did it?
What?
Did collected any information?
What, a
You said
year and a
you
half
said a
ago?
year ago. This was recent.
No. That was-
And there were other people that witnessed this, so I'm not making it up.
Well,
So yeah, go ahead. You had to start.
excuse me, thank you. It is not being collected by Councilwoman Amanda or I. Now, there's someone that's from the county that's out there sometimes that's collecting or asking or trying to sign people up for Medicaid and housing program, but we are not collecting any such thing.
We don't have to stay on this topic forever, but I caution the council, if any of that is to happen, doesn't matter if it's me, any council member, if you collect proprietary information from the residents, it has to be coordinated with the town. It's not something that you do when nobody knows what happens to it. And I'm not saying you do, I'm just saying it was mentioned. So if that is something that the town does, at least one resident is too many. So if I got misinformation, I can respect what you're saying. But if it was said, then it's not a good look for the town because they're saying, why are these council members collecting information?
Councilmember,
So, I only know what I heard. That doesn't make it true though.
Can I finish one? I didn't know.
Yes, ma'am.
I suggest in the future going forward, before we are, or anyone is accused, perhaps maybe asking first before it is brought out in a public session as this, saying that we're doing that and we're not. And that will alleviate any misunderstandings on both paths.
It's not an accusation. I hope you have you.
Yeah.
It's not an accusation. It was a question. And I put the question out to the full council. I did not accuse anyone. I said certain events and I cited those. And it's full transparency. If a resident asked it, it's of the council. And then we put it out to the residents. That's what you do. So, okay, Councilwoman Amanda?
Yes, I just wanted to say, if there's anybody that says something like that, can you please just can you rope us into that conversation, or so we can clear up whatever misunderstanding is there, because nobody is collecting information at the food giveaway. There's no reason to collect their information. The only thing that I can think of, which I don't know the conversation or who the person was, is for the coat drive, which we give out a flyer for the coat drive. If someone would like a coat, they scan the QR code and they request a coat or request that they'll be there to receive a coat. So that would be somebody's own decision to ask for a coat or to say, I have a coat to donate. So that is the only time that I can even think of that any information would be transferred that has anything to do with the food giveaway. So I just wanted to state that.
I thank you for that, Councilman Amanda. We move on. Okay, next we have TA Red, parking enforcement ordinance.
Yes.
24-6. Did you yield, Councilman?
I do.
Okay, TA Red.
Yeah, this is just a reading, just for you guys. I gave a copy to the chief. Did you read it? Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you guys a copy. I'm sorry. We've got a lot of things open. Here we go. Here's the word I put together. Please review it. Let me know your thoughts. This is to allow, because there's continuous issues with parking. Go. Yeah.
TA Red, this is a lot of reading. Legislation allows you to summarize this.
Sure.
We can read it. I'm just gonna ask, and I always say this, can we start putting documentation online? I
Yes.
know I ask this every meeting for the residents to see.
Do we put this online before it's been approved?
No,
Okay,
it's public information.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So, in summary, it's basically allowing, actually, it's not a lot, it's like literally one page, but
But with TA Red, we're going into 10 o'clock.
that's fine. So very in short, okay, it's basically allowing allowing us to basically park enforcement to include code enforcement and, to include duty parking enforcement officer and code enforcement officer in the town of Capais to enforce the ordinance upon discovery of illegal parking. To include, essentially including allowing our, code enforcement to also support the police department in that effort.
Oh, okay. Let me reduce this to what it's really asking.
Okay.
Okay. Code enforcement has asked the police department, this is full transparency, to ask the police department to approve code enforcement, give them the ability to be able to enforce this parking ordinance. And in order to do that, you want a resolution that
Alright.
basically will direct the police chief to approve code enforcement doing this. Is that what this is saying?
Yeah, essentially to include
Okay, I
not
just
just,
want to cut to the
but
chase.
to cut the chase, it's also to not just include police officers, but also code enforcement
I
and
just said that.
just want to make sure.
Okay, chief,
Just briefly, your mayor.
Your Honor.
from your honor.
Yes.
In order for parking enforcement to be, a civilian to be doing parking and writing citations, you must create an ordinance. In addition to have access to NCIC meters and these web databases for running tags and that information, an ordinance must also be created. So where he came from, they had one. I talked to Chief Ayers about it, and I think she worked with the police for getting some information as well. So we needed an ordinance for parking enforcement to be conducted in the town, which we did not have originally.
And this is a good thing because we have not been doing it because you're handling the police business, so to speak. And so you are supporting this, am I right,
Oh,
Chief?
100%. I think it's a
Okay.
good idea.
So TA Red, you are asking the council to
Yes.
approve this
Yes,
so we can make
Yes.
our things better.
yes.
Okay, I'm open for comments. I'm gonna start this way. Councilman James,
Let's do
let's do it, okay? You yield, sir?
it. Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Make it happen.
make it happen, okay? Councilwoman Benita.
Okay, we really haven't had a chance to dissect all this, it's in the citation. But however, will it just be just the folks that will be doing these
Yeah.
parking
It
violations?
would be him.
Just him?
Yeah, because he's helping me with this too.
All right, so we just him. My other question or suggestion is that we need to put an announcement out too, once this ordinance goes, announcing who our code enforcers are and who our parking enforcers. So when people start seeing these people in the community looking at their property or looking at their car, they know, okay, that's somebody legit and not no somebody trying to break in my house or carjack me or steal my car. They need to know that. And lastly, will they have some type of, or will he, because he will be parking enforcement, have something to identify himself as that, as such? And will they, the code enforcement, have something to identify themselves or uniform, identifying themselves as such? Because, you know, some people get a little testy when you start messing around with their property, their cars or their house. I hear.
May I answer?
Good stuff. Good stuff. Your thoughts, please.
Actually, Chief already said that. He said we should have a uniform that basically identify him. So that was part of the long emails that you wrote, whereby we can, this is just the actual act. And then, of course, there's gonna be like, you know, the cosmetic aspects of it, which is uniform and so forth.
So when we get information like this, it's good that we have time to digest it.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're not able to even ask questions that I would like to ask, not having not thoroughly read the document. I do want to first point out that only mayor and council are able to introduce legislation, and I do see drafted by town administrator Brand, and it should be introduced by the town council.
Okay. Or the chief? What, I mean, mayor and council, how do you want to do this?
You just said good Mayor Council.
Okay, sorry about that.
The mayor doesn't introduce legislation, it's the council that introduces legislation. We have the legislators, but I'm just saying, it should be drafted by the town administrator.
Okay. And then introduced by council.
For the parking, I suppose this is a position that's being created?
No, not a position.
So I see parking enforcement officer.
And code enforcement, that's what we already have that. We're just giving them that
Code
access.
enforcement officer or parking enforcement
Yeah.
officer.
It shall be the duty of parking enforcement officer and code enforcement officer of the town of Capitol Heights to enforce the ordinance and upon discovery, any vehicle parked or otherwise in violation too. We're not creating a new position.
So for number 13, under collection, I was just saying parking. I haven't seen a parking enforcement officer position title before.
Okay, but
So where is that? Under what?
we can just take that
Is that
out.
on our organizational chart? Am I missing something?
That's the, that's true.
No, I just want to tie it. That's all.
You're right. That's it. All right.
Yes, so if it's a parking enforcement officer, I would assume it would be a position description, if this is a parking enforcement officer. And to know where they will be falling under, if this is a new position. Name with the code enforcement, this is all I just scanned through, for now.
It's there.
I yield, thank you.
That's their question. So what I can do is basically by language semantics, I'll correct it. So it shall just be the duty of the code enforcement officer. We already have that. I'll just take out the word for parking enforcement. I think that was redundant. I just made it too much.
Okay, she's, you know, with them too.
Yep.
I yield.
Okay, she did.
Yeah, I just, the only question I have, because I know it was mentioned, with this ordinance, the gentleman will get access to meters local, is that correct?
Well, this just says, chief.
Well, meters is a part of Delta Plus and NCIC. So he's already certified at level 1. And he's actually having access. We're gonna be able to transfer that once you approve this order. Currently, he does not have access because the town does not have an ordinance that permits him to have access.
Okay. So once this is approved, he will have access.
Right, he just have the access he had over at Cottage City.
Okay, great. Thank you. I yield.
Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to skim and read as fast as I can, so if I'm missing it, I apologize, but I'm confused. What is the violation? So the second whereas, where it says, code enforcement officers of the town of Capitol Heights to enforce this ordinance and upon discovering any vehicle parked or otherwise in violation too. like parked where or in violation to what? Like,
Well,
what-
everything underneath, one, delivery of citations to driver, okay, so violation two, what, if you, let me see this,
So-
keep it up, yeah.
So to speed this up, so 1 through 4 is saying what the officer is going to do, that this is the rights they're given to do. But I don't see anywhere what the violation is, like how do we know what car is eligible?
So we can put language in this, whatever the code, whatever our town.
You don't have to do that. Your violations are already codified in ordinance currently, like
Oh,
parking in a no parking zone. This person will have authority to enforce parking where parking is not permitted.
So can we reference where these are found?
So they are currently in your current ordinances for parking. Your existing ordinances.
You say reference them in the resolution.
Oh, the rest, well, that's something Joy.
yeah, I can write that.
But that's a lot to reference.
In the resolution.
I mean,
No, not
can you reference the
Just
doc-
the-
That's
yeah,
the paragraph
section,
number stuff.
yeah, okay.
I think we need to, if I'm reading this as a resident, I want to know where to find those violations, so what causes a violation, I want to know it institutes a violation, so that I don't,
So you will
You can
reference
take
the ordinance, I'm sorry.
yeah, so we can reference the ordinance.
So you're gonna tell me which one that is.
And also found, you need to reference where the ordinance is found. If you don't put it in, where can they find it?
I can just write it,
Because obviously we don't keep stuff online, which we should, so.
so I would just say,
Do you yield, Councilman Vanderpool?
Yeah, I do.
so basically, essentially, I would just write, it shall be the duty of the code enforcement officer of the town of Capitola to enforce this ordinance and upon discovery any vehicle parked or otherwise in violation as per ordinance number, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Easy fix.
So you will bring this back for a second reading?
Yes, but I do need someone to move in a second.
No, we're not passing it the second one. You don't.
Okay.
Yet,
You
just
just
the
don't-
first reading. This is the first reading.
That's fine.
Okay, Council. Did I speak to you? I'm sorry.
No, you can, but I didn't have anything to say at the time, but I did
Oh,
now.
yes, sir. Uh-huh.
Yeah, is this, I know it's not 24/6, right?
No, it's 2025 now, one. 'Cause
But no, I'm saying on our agenda, you have 24/6.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
It
it
said-
is.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, you
sorry,
just-
that's my fault. It should be 2025-1. Correction.
That's all, I get it.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right, so we are public comments?
No, it's none. Oh, Miss Natina did say she'd love to go on the trip to New York.
Oh, Ms. Bentley?
Yes, the
Okay.
play in New York, yep.
Okay. Okay, it is now, it is now 9:45. I will entertain a meeting to close out the public and go into, to closed session to discuss what's on the agenda, which is go into closed session for inappropriate behavior by a staff member, both personnel, inconsistencies with the town department. I will entertain a motion to close out this public meeting.
So move that we close out the public session and go into a closed session to discuss inappropriate behavior by a staff member and inconsistent within a town department.
Okay, thank you. Any members on that? Okay, so we're gonna close out the meeting and go into closed session. In accordance with, the Opens Meeting Act, paragraph 305B. And again, we have cited what we're going into.
And
Mine too.
Yes. And thank you. Lisa. Thank you. And thank you.